Wow, this is big.
This is huge. We are back.
What is
P
it? 3 months?
3 months. I don't know the exact date of episode 5, but
I think we'll have to find out.
PB&J episode 6. Welcome everyone. It's been a long time. We have missed having the crew back in the studio together. I flew Brad and Puck into Salt Lake City, but I put them in separate bedrooms, and Brad just wanted the green screen.
Flew us economy, by the way. That was kind of a bold move. I'm gonna admit that right there.
Yeah, it was economy. It was way in the back too.
Yeah, by the can, it was pretty bad. Some guy had some bad sushi in the flight. It was,
Oof.
needless to say, it was a rough flight. Yeah, but
Yeah, and I was right seat.
It was aisle 39 on a 737.
Yeah. Yep.
Aisle 30. Wow, row 39.
But you're here. You
Well-
made it to Salt Lake City. Hey, welcome, PB&J,
welcome
baby.
everybody. Hello, welcome on board. Thanks for being here. My name is John Fly. I'm going to take you through this wonderful morning here of flight simulation talk, and yeah, we're gonna have a good time with it. So my co-host here alongside me, to my right, going to be your left. That's going to be Mr. Brad M himself, and then to your right and my left, we have Mr. Chuck Vanek. We're very happy to have them all here, and we welcome them on board once again. Good to see you guys. It really is.
I'm quite surprised, John Fly, that Chicago O'Hare let us sit right here, so close to the runway, because we're not really in Salt Lake. We are in Chicago.
That's true. That's true. I actually got permission from the airport manager. Very easily done.
Yeah.
Not a problem. They love watching the show, so wasn't a big deal. And here we are, prime access on runway. What is this today?
This is 28 Center, John Fly.
28 Center.
Yeah.
Good to hear, Brad. That's amazing. And Chuck, how are you doing today?
This is confusing me. I'm doing well though. Doing well.
That's great. All right. Enough of the nonsense. Let's dive right in.
Let's dive
Kick it
right
off.
in. You guys been to
Guys,
Orlando anytime soon? Lately?
I had a trip recently, but I
Yeah.
canceled it because
It's too
I
much
didn't wanna
drama. Yeah.
Yeah, way
I
too
didn't, I
much.
didn't want. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a big hassle, and Orlando,
Yeah.
boring. Nothing good goes on there.
No. Yeah.
Nothing good.
I mean,
Although I hear the place to be is E3. I hear Los Angeles is very nice this time of year.
I would agree with that. They had some amazing announcements and Twitch bans.
Yeah.
Or,
yeah.
sorry,
as well.
suspensions. I just
Yes.
heard about I just heard about that suspension yesterday, but we won't
I'm just
talk
glad
about
that nobody IRL streamed from a toilet at the expo. But
Yeah.
honestly, it could have happened at any point. Like,
it
Yeah.
could have happened.
it frankly could have happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite
I
honestly.
mean, I did have a conversation with Pete Fly Purdue in the bathroom right after he got done streaming. So it could have been possible
He could have
that
accidentally
wasn't,
left it live. No,
yeah,
this is
it was possible.
in
Did he
all
wash his hands?
He did wash his hands.
Okay.
Yes.
In-
yes.
in-
Very thoroughly.
in all seriousness. I actually was watching an unnamed streamer stream flight simulation, and he actually walked back and forth in front of the camera with his fly down, wide open. And I was like, I don't know if that's on purpose or not. That's worth
Maybe.
That could be
How
worth
could
a
you
follow.
talk
that-
about me like that?
No,
That
no,
may
it
have just been
wasn't.
a
It
big
wasn't.
Fork
it
you
wasn't you.
to everybody.
Did you actually live stream? Either one of you?
No.
Mm-mm.
I wasn't sure if you did.
Nope.
For those that don't know, we're talking about the big Flight Sim Expo that happened in Orlando, Florida this past weekend. I had a great time. It was, and you ask people what their favorite moment was, and everyone agrees that it wasn't a particular booth or exhibitor or announcement. It really was meeting face to face, having the conversations, having the food, the drink, hugs, kisses in some cases. We know each other from chat. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think that's the proverbial dead horse to beat this year because honestly, that's what it was. Like nothing really there was of interest to me personally besides just like that. I think that's pretty that's like the consensus. know what I
Honeycomb
mean?
and Just Chatting booth. Those were mine.
Yeah, the Just Chatting
No,
booth
like
was a
none,
hit.
none of the seminars
No. Yeah.
were of like. I mean, I went into one. That was it.
I went
And
to
left
Laminar.
early. Yeah, and other than that, like it was
Yeah.
just. I mean, like running around, like that was pretty much what it was. So yeah, that was just the highlight of the entire. Like, if we could do that, but not have it at a Flight Sim Expo, it'd be amazing.
Yeah.
But that's like the only way to get people together is to tell them, hey,
Yep.
big Flight Sim Expo going on, and everybody shows up. Otherwise, I guess it's hard to get an excuse to just meet in Orlando, Florida in
Yeah.
June.
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
I actually I heard something. Somebody was talking about they were talking about the whole expo thing, and they made the comparison between there are actually like two different expos going on. There was the Twitch Expo, and then there was the Flight Sim Expo. You had all the people that we knew from Twitch, and there were good 25, 30 of us that, well, probably more than that, at least, that I knew from Twitch and whatever through live streaming. And then there was everybody that was at the expo,
Yep.
all the older guys in their flight suits. That was
Yep.
my favorite. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, it was honestly one of the best experiences, probably best trip I have taken in a while.
Yeah,
So
I enjoyed the story that you had on your stream about the flight back. I was right there when that guy broke out the speed tape, and you're
oof,
like but then at the end of the day, you're like a fan of speed tape. So good stories. That's what it's about. Story time.
the speed tape.
I think as far as the other things that I loved walking around. I was able to meet people that I hadn't met before. Nicholas from the org store had made an appearance. I don't think he had been at the FS conventions before, and I
Mm.
don't think he was at Vegas last year. So it was nice to say hello to him, and it was nice to meet with Navigraph and Orbex and Real Sim Gear. And yeah, it was a good time. I really wish that full size A320 simulator was X-plane compatible, because I
Yep.
almost would have taken a loan out for that bad
Well, it,
boy.
it is, no? It says on the brochure, it said it's compatible with the TOLIS, with the JAR 320, and
The
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 Flight Factor.
big one, they said it was only
Yeah.
Pro Sim.
No
Oh,
way.
the pamphlet that I didn't ask the guy because I didn't have any interest in it, but the pamphlet that they passed around stated it was compatible with ProSim, FS Labs, which we learned it actually wasn't, Flight Factor, TOLIS, and JAR Design 320.
Well, now I got to take
So
out a loan. New donation
yeah,
goal.
I
There
don't
you
know.
go.
I I,
32,000.
I don't know if I want to spend $32,000 on that.
It looked
Yeah.
good. It
Not
looked
worth it.
good. Yeah, it looked great.
Yeah,
Sorry
it's
that
not
we're
worth it.
not paying as much attention to chat as we possibly can during the talk show, but I appreciate all you guys coming to join Brad and Puck and I. We got some subscribes coming in. Thank you guys very much. Jace Sevillum 2 with the subscribe. Of course, I have to say hello to El Gargantuan and Iron Condor and B2 and Vegas Flyer and Brett Sand
Indeed.
and Speedbird 07, because we sat across the table from these gentlemen.
I know.
I
Yeah.
sat across from Speedbird 07, got to know him and his friend, learned a little bit about the Embry Riddle, right? Brett had he bought me a beer or five. Great guy. Garg, always a pleasure. It's good
Yeah.
times.
It was. Yeah. I mean, we all wined and dined together, and it was just. I mean,
We
yeah.
drank beverages together.
Perfect weekend is what it
Funny.
was.
Your dinner, you had to been a little bit nervous about doing it for the first time, and it was a hit.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, well, the problem was logistics of it, right? Getting
Yeah,
everybody there at once,
yeah,
and telling the restaurant we're showing up with this many people, and
yeah,
then crossing your fingers that this many people show up. No, but yeah, in
yeah.
the end, it worked really well, and everybody had a great time, and it was a lot of fun until it started raining on later on in the evening, I
Oh, it was
guess. But
fantastic.
other
Was
than that, I mean, perfect.
was she a Spanish dancer or a Moroccan dancer?
Yeah, that was Spanish. Yeah, that was
Spanish,
Okay,
Spanish.
yeah.
Yep.
because I said Spanish the other day. I told the stream. I said I brought home the Spanish dancer from the restaurant, and they're like,
Hmm.
she was Moroccan, and I no, she still's claiming to this very
Yeah,
moment
don't
over
don't don't
there.
listen to them. Yeah, yeah, don't
In
listen to
fact,
them.
she's gonna come over and she's gonna dance behind me. So yeah, for those that weren't there, Brad hosted this great dinner at this Spanish restaurant, and I dreamt of Olay, Olay,
Ole.
Ole! Yeah,
Olay, and then Nico got up there and Delta 213 on Twitch, and he danced with her, and it
and
was
standing on the chair. I think
yeah.
they timed the Olay part perfectly after we got a new round of drinks. So it seems that every time we got a new round of drinks, the Olays got louder and louder,
Yep.
and it just became a
Yeah.
big thing. But yeah, I mean that was super cool to meet people who I didn't actually get to meet at the expo because they only were, I guess we just didn't cross paths, but they showed up for dinner. That was pretty cool to,
Yeah.
they were doing other things during the day or whatever. But like Jordan, I don't think Jordan was there too much on Saturday.
Hawaiian hippie.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were. I think they were at Disney or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, one of the parks. But
Yeah.
either way, yeah,
Yep.
great success. So look forward to next year's big event,
We.
TBD. But
Yeah.
mark your calendars.
I.
Yeah.
Market.
I'm lucky to have been party to the discussion of the possible venue for next year's
Mm,
Din
yep.
event. So
Yeah.
Yes.
this URL not found. Thank you for the subscribe. Thank you 404. Now Vegas Flyer here in the chat room. Correct me if I'm wrong, Puck, but is he the one who got his citizenship recently and he was celebrating with the flag and he thought of you? Is that what I heard?
No. So the story goes, he got his citizenship 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Congratulations. Welcome
Yes, very
to
good.
America.
Congratulations. And Brad made a toast at dinner for him, and so he was telling me about this when it happened. We were in Brad's Discord, and he's like, "Oh yeah, so when I got the citizenship, they had us all stand up, and what was it?
God
It
bless
wasn't
the
God bless.
USA.
It was God bless the USA.
Lee
Yeah,
Greenwood. Yeah.
Lee Greenwood. Yep. And so one of my streams in December, I had a few too many drinky poos, few too many root beers, and so I had a American flag draped around my shoulders, singing "God Bless the USA,"
And he thought of
and
that
that's what they
during
played. And he
he
thought
thought of
about that.
you during his whole
Yep,
citizenship moment. That's awesome.
I'm
And
blessed.
and now he
I'm
was
blessed.
sitting to the right of me during Brad's dinner, and it's just so cool that we have all these stories, but yet I was right there next to our newest citizen. So
Yeah.
yeah, very cool. Maple
He's
syrup
a great
can.
guy.
Thank you for the continuation of the gifted sub from Citation Max. All right, cool. Little recap there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we should dig into some questions here. If you guys have any, you can use the ask command, which will provide you a link. If you have any questions, such as how was our trip, what was the best thing we ate,
Oh yeah, we just both did it.
how
Okay.
was the flight home, anything like that, feel free to ask.
You can,
But
yeah.
I'm just kidding. But I mean, there's been like so much that's happened in the past 2 months. I think we should just immediately address the elephant in the room to get it out of the way.
The elephant with wings in the room
The elephant, yeah, the elephant with
with
wings.
amazing visuals. Yeah.
Yes. We'll talk about it once, and then maybe twice if we really, really have the
And at
motivation
the
to do
end,
it.
maybe for
Maybe at
those.
the end
Yeah,
of the
maybe,
stream. Yeah.
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 All
Maybe
right.
at the end.
So I will be the proverbial viewer here and say, what do you guys think about that new flight simulator? Let's hear about it, John.
Okay, so to me it was very fascinating the timing of the announcement.
Yes.
We've talked about this a little bit on our live streams, but the fact that Microsoft elected to announce on the last day of Flight Simulation Expo, the largest flight simulation conference in America, North America for that matter, this hemisphere. Maybe I don't know what the biggest one in the world is, if it's the one in Germany or what. But anyway, I wish they had done a dual announcement. I wish they had said, okay, Flight Sim Expo, you guys can announce this after 2:05 p.m. We're going to announce it at E3 at 2:04, whatever. The trailer came out. The video was the talk. I was live streaming from Orlando Airport because there was I was trying to get home from Flight Sim Expo, and the airport had been shut down due to lightning. So I threw up a live stream, and it was fun. I had like 212 guys in there chatting to me about hanging out at the airport. Suddenly, someone comes in and says, "Hey, did you hear about Flight Simulator 20, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020?" I'm like, "Yeah, right, whatever." And then someone said FSX was announced at E3, and then I'm like, "Wait, Flight Sim Expo announced that they're going to join E3 in Vegas or something?" I was completely confused. Then someone started posting links, and when you're live streaming from your phone, you can't click on a link and watch some video. In the end, I figured out what it was, and later on that day, I watched the video. The visuals are amazing. The visuals are amazing. It looks amazing. My concerns are I hear the rumors that it's going to be cloud-based for scenery
Mm-hmm.
and weather. So can I fly when I don't have internet? And secondly, how much of this is going to be geared toward the Xbox type user because it's going to be on PC and Xbox? How well modeled are the systems going to be, and how friendly are they going to be to third party developers, i.e., PMDG, Carenado, JustFlight, Milviz, VFlight, all of these different potential developers. Now, I named a bunch of them that are very platform specific. But if this is the future, because we all came from this foundation, right? I'm excited about the possibilities. I know it's a ways off. What do you think, Puck?
Um, I mean, I agree with that. What I was reading, what like I've seen from other things that are like that, where it's all like scenery downloading from the cloud and whatnot. Um, there will probably be like a base map, and then everything on top of that is going to be through your internet connection. If you don't have the best internet connection, that's going to be kind of hard. Uh, I was reading in chat. I saw that somebody said it's just cutscenes, or I didn't see a simulator. I saw a cutscene, and I completely agree with that. It's Microsoft is going to be able to make a CGI look phenomenal. Um, but really, I'm going to hold all judgment. I'm going to hold all of my anticipation until it comes out. There's no way I'm going to say anything more until it comes out.
Until you
Because
see it,
yeah,
a full flight on YouTube or a
yep.
stream, a live stream on Twitch. Yeah,
And the whole Xbox Pass thing, I don't get it. I don't get it. But
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
That's my thought process.
Brad.
Looks cool. That's really it.
There we go. All right.
Yeah.
They
I
have
think it's
So
funny. Everybody who doesn't like it now, when it comes out, just wait and see that the people who are, not so for it now are probably like protect. They feel like they have to protect their own investment now, and
yeah.
But once it comes out, then you'll see. Then you'll
that's
see.
true.
Fun, but it looks great. Looks cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice shots. I liked it.
All right. So that's out of the way. So we won't be talking about that for the next hour and a half. Um,
Pretty much.
so this is kind of geared towards all of us. I know we all have different. Actually, we all kind of have similar computer specs. This one from Huff Daddy, most ideal computer build sub 2000 to run X.
Whoa, that
And
plane.
what's that?
Oh,
Oh yeah, a
Yikes.
little bit off. A little bit off.
all right. Sorry.
um,
So a PC for under 2K. Is that the question
yep,
for X
for
plane?
X
Or
plane.
okay,
Yep,
okay.
That's. I mean, 2K is a lot
that's
for
a
an X
lot of
Plane
money.
PC. Holy crap! I mean, you could.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're cool with spending 2K on a PC just for X Plane, prepare to be amazed because. But if you're like trying to just make the budget fit, then you can definitely cut it because I think the one I'm running now is like 1600, and it was pre-built,
Yeah.
right? So that's with the additional upcharges for it being, or not pre-built, but it was custom built. So um, that's with the additional upcharges associated with. But if you're cool with spending 2K, you're in the clear.
Yeah.
You're gonna have nothing but good frames.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I think that obviously the 2080 Ti would take up the majority of that, so that's you probably can't go to that extent, but a 2070. And then I would make sure that I got an i7 processor.
Hmm.
Supposedly AMD is going to announce some chips later. They've announced some that potentially could be comparable to some of the i7s that we're now running. I personally run the 8086. I don't know if it's actually still available. It was kind of like a rare special release. What the going processor right now is what the 9700, 9800, 9900K i7. Oh, sorry, i9.
Yeah.
So I think any i7 or i9, I think you're going to be fine. Now, what's going to take advantage of Vulkan and how far away we are from Vulkan, I don't know. I would focus on RAM that is 3200 megahertz, not less and not more, because
Yep.
that's the sweet spot for X Plane. And then again, like a 2070, and then really I'd start to focus on disk space, because as much as we all want true Earth in the everywhere globally from Orbex, we're going to still have to have ortho. And so if you want a good full experience on X-Plane, you need the disk space. So that 8 terabyte or even 2 8 terabyte drives is not too out of the realm of possibility for $2,000.
I would
Yeah,
make sure
I
to get an
agree.
SSD as well. I think just to even run the OS on, and then if even you can
Yep.
get a bigger one
Yeah.
to store your games and run your base games off of, and then just pull the ortho from a hard drive if you want,
Yeah.
or something like that. But I mean, like that, the prices are going down and down. So just
I,
look for good deals if you're gonna buy it all and obviously build it yourself. It's way
yeah.
cheaper. I don't want to say way cheaper, but it's definitely cheaper. But if you're like me and you have no interest in building, touching, whatever you want it done for you, there's great sites out there, and there's great companies who will be willing to help you out. And I've had both my PCs custom built, and I have had zero issues and just amazing kind of, what's the word I'm looking for now? Just success, I guess, with
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
companies. So
I
they're
agree.
great.
Hello to everyone
I
in the chat that's saying hello, greetings. We're sorry we can't focus on the chat as much as we want to, but there's a few questions in chat as well. Make sure that you submit your questions on the form that I just posted there in the chat. Love you all. Thank you for all the subscriptions, and thank you for joining us today. I do appreciate. We're not able to interact with you as much as we'd like to, except for you,
um
Stakes. It was fun meeting you.
it was very fun, yes. To piggyback off what Brad and John said, um, I think the biggest thing for X-Plane at this moment is GPU. Like I've been so GPU bound with X-Plane. My CPU 8700K is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Um, I think depending on what your mission is, an i7 is perfect where you should be. An i9 even could be an option. They're getting cheaper now that
Yeah.
it's been almost a year since they've been released. But i9 with a GPU that has enough VRAM, so like the 27 or 1070, 1080, 1080 Ti,
Yeah.
2070, 2080, 2080 Ti, you're not going to use that really at all on you're not going to use the maximum performance of it.
Yeah.
Um,
B2 makes a
I
good
do
point. The
know,
RAM on the GPU, just you got to look for
yes,
that minimum VRAM.
minimum would
I
be
would
8.
say though,
Yeah,
not all simmers are like us, and we have ortho everywhere and all this crazy
true.
mesh and all this advanced stuff. Some guys are super content with just having a base simulator.
Yeah.
And if you're like, I'm sure we've all flown stock X-plane or P3D at least for a couple of maybe just seconds at least. But
Yep,
you know, that runs like a charm basically. So until you start adding on all this stuff, you don't need to go super all out. But if you want to have like all this super nice fancy ortho and run,
Yeah.
these high spec planes and stuff, then yeah, you need a lot of resources. But
Yeah.
you know,
agree.
I don't know,
Yep,
not everyone's super like, they want to they want to be able to see they're at someone's house when they're flying over on their departure from LAX or something
right.
crazy like that.
Yeah. And
But I would
a
say,
good point there in chat is that the people that are having issue with their current hardware, yeah, just turn the settings down. We don't need maximum anti-aliasing and texture detail because for the most part, when you're at the flight levels, you can't tell the difference between high or medium texture quality, and of course, anti-aliasing is I rarely see a difference. But
exactly.
Don't forget the NVIDIA can, if you have an NVIDIA card, and if you just tweak your X-Plane settings in the menu and you say, oh, I'm still getting bad FPS,
yeah,
just look up. If you don't know what NVIDIA control panel is, look it up.
yeah,
Adjust some settings in that's like a powerhouse in itself. That can
yeah.
make or break, literally make or break your simulator based on your current settings in that. So,
I have breaking
um,
news.
okay.
We all just got an extra 5 frames per second for the next month when we fly FlyJSim products because he just subscribed from Flying Jackal himself.
It's funny.
Everyone, 5 free FPS for the rest of June until the middle of July.
Woo,
Very
heck yeah.
nice. Sounds good. Hey, Jack, when's that Q400 coming out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exclamation when in chat.
When? Yeah,
It
when?
gives you the
When,
answer
please.
to every release. Actually, it's a
That's true.
matrix.
That's very
There
funny.
we go. There we go. Thank you, Flying Jackal, for joining us today. You were a
I
big
just want,
hit at the expo.
yeah, I didn't want to ask him at the expo because, like, in chat there, I would have, he would have, so, didn't want to offend him too much. But now we're back behind the screens. I can safely ask from the comfort of my own home
Yeah.
when it's coming out.
Yeah.
So I like it. Righty ho, we have some more questions here coming in. Wow, we almost have gotten double in the past couple minutes.
Oh, good.
This is exciting. Right. So actually, here's a good question from Citation Max himself, who's probably still
Oh God.
tucked quite nicely into bed at this time. But we'll make sure we address this question. Sorry, John. This is for me and Puck only.
Yep.
For good reasons, though. Why don't you guys post content on YouTube? I think John agrees it's a great way to get people to cross platform and bring in people who don't know Twitch. I will just go out there with a few words. I don't have the time or the motivation to film like the videos, edit them, produce them, and then upload them, and then pretty much manage a whole other uh, channel. I like to just focus everything into Twitch, um, and leave it like that. But I agree. There's definitely a lot to do over on YouTube, and there's as John has proved, there's quite a few people that you can bring over from YouTube into Twitch. And that's a matter of fact how I found Twitch was watching YouTube videos of Catstrader, and then I saw the link in his channel description, and I clicked on it, and then now here we are, 2 years later. So I think it's a great platform, but I just don't have the you know any of those resources to do it. So that's my
I'll
answer.
chime in after Puck.
My thought process to it is I have the time, I have the resources to
Must be
do it.
nice.
But yeah, it definitely must be nice. I just don't have I don't have the motivation to do it. It would be in an ideal world, I would hire or not hire, but I'd get freelance work or something like that for putting together like stream clips or whatever, or if I do like a flight, have somebody edit it up and whatnot. But it would all be live stream stuff. I wouldn't do anything outside of it very similar to what John does with the taking the clips from or taking the highlights from streams and putting it on his channel.
Yeah.
Maybe putting out like a funny moments or something like that, like me messing something up, or that's what I do. But yeah, it takes too much time and effort to go through with it, and I just don't have the motivation to do it.
Yeah. There's some gentlemen out there that have established themselves as the go-to YouTube videos for P3D and X-Plane, meaning that some of them will walk you through cold and dark, and they polish their videos, and none of them are live streams. They're edited. They've got the camera views down. They've studied the checklists. It's I love some of these guys. Like Q8 Pilot, and even Blue Gaming, who I met at the expo, does a great job. And Cat Strader used to do more of it, but I think he's more doing the live stream uploads now. But I'm like Brad. I discovered a lot of things through Frugal, believe it or not. And I didn't discover Twitch through him, but I discovered a little bit more of the fascinating growth of what was happening in Flight Sim through Frugal. And then that was when I started dabbling back in P3D in 2012, 2013. But I would say that it doesn't take too much for you to upload both of your live streams to YouTube without any editing, other than you just maybe you cut out some of the intro and some of the you start the video
Yeah.
where you're actually starting to manipulate the plane for getting going, and then you may cut it up. It's easy to do. You don't necessarily need to do the edited videos, and at present, Twitch makes it very easy just to click the upload button. But yeah, I don't have polished videos up there for the most part. But if I ever do get to a point where I'm doing polished videos, I have done one out of every 20 maybe have something that's off the cuff, like a talk show like this. I may in the future do some full reviews and other things that are not live streamed, but it's like you said, Puck, I'm not that motivated to do the full edited videos over there. So But
Yeah,
it,
I think with the whole uploading the VODs though, I think if you want to watch the VOD that bad for whatever reason, just come on over to the channel
well,
and watch it
it's
there.
funny.
You know.
There were people that came up to me at Expo that said, "Hey, it's nice to see you. I see you online. Oh yeah, what's your Twitch name? Oh, what's Twitch?" They
Yeah.
actually watch.
From
They
YouTube.
don't even watch. They don't watch
Yeah.
Twitch, and they just watch YouTube. So it was kind of fascinating.
I totally get it. There's people who don't like watching Twitch, and people
Yeah,
like me who aren't big at like
yeah,
watching YouTube stuff, right?
yeah.
So I guess there's just really two schools of thought, and just two sides of the fence. But I mean, yeah, I'm gonna just focus solely on Twitch. That's my thought process for now. So
Makes sense.
yeah,
Offscad Descent, thank you for the tier 2 subscribe. Thank you.
12 months, got the globe,
12
very nice.
months.
Wow.
Oh,
Whoa.
the year from Offscad. And by the way, he's flying in the real world, a captain, down to out of Costa Rica this morning.
Whoa, yikes.
Must be nice.
Yeah, Costa Rica. And by the way,
Very nice.
the landing there is not the easiest landing. There's some terrain involved.
Mm.
I should check that out on the sim sometime. But anyway, good chat.
All right, so let's continue on. Puck, I will let you lead off with this next question. I think it's right up your alley.
Yeah. This is not my question. Would you consider becoming a real pilot? You know what? I'll be
Would
the
you?
moderator for this. I'll send this off to you and John over here.
Puck, I have to ask some questions though. There's been recent
Do not
things
bring
that
up PilotEdge. Do
that
not
have
bring
come
up
to light.
PilotEdge.
I will not bring up PilotEdge, although that
You
is
totally are.
a deep concern of mine, which we will not surface at this time. But every time you seem to fly, we hear these, dare I say, horror stories. You know, flat tires,
I mean, I'm also
parts falling off of your
Cowling.
plane,
Yeah.
right? Shutting down taxiways. I mean,
Squall
dodging
lines.
storms. I must admit,
shutting down taxiways. Wait,
I
where did this
must
one come
admit,
from?
I must admit, I am fearful. I am fearful for your own safety, Puck. I mean,
As a friend, I appreciate that, but as a friend also, thank you. I guess whatever.
Puck is the pilot version of Bad Luck Brian.
Wow. Okay.
I will fly
That's
with you anytime.
Right.
And Brad,
It might not.
you
it
can be
might
my
not be in
wingman
plane, though.
anytime.
I'll follow on the ground in the car, like the chase plane with the balloon. They launch the balloons, the guys drive it. Yeah, I'll do that.
You can drive out into the runway and meet up with us as we land. Like the B2, not the B2s. What are they? The big long wingspan that go up to like 60,000 feet or whatever they are. The spy planes.
Oh yeah.
No, but I will say, I am a bit of a drama queen, as you guys know. I really play it. I really play it off. But YouTube, there it is. Yeah. No, the whole tire incident that was frustrating. But the cowl latch,
That was
bad.
that was interesting. Yeah.
We're working on
I
that.
think you represent though what happens to any pilot. Just with these older planes, you just sometimes you have to deal with wear and tear, and
It just happens.
But
yeah.
again, I would fly with you anytime. As
It's
far
just
as
scary.
as far
It's
as
just scary.
as far as the question is concerned, we talked about it on I think 2 episodes ago on PB&J.
Yeah.
I applied for my medical, and they wanted a lot of paperwork due to my cardiac condition and former medical history. Someone told me at the expo actually that I talked to them about how I had a heart attack and I had an operation and that, and they said, you know what, the AOPA can go to bat for you, and you actually could
Sure.
get your medical because you're young. You can pass a stress test. You can pass an EKG. So really, at this juncture, it's literally about $3,000 worth of testing on my heart, and then getting the AOPA involved with their attorneys and just going through and then I'm on a conditional license. So, but
Yeah, I think AOPA, and I think there's a different company who
Yeah.
advocates if you like either fail or can't
yeah.
get your medical, whatever. So
So I will
AOPA's great.
I will
yeah.
probably when the finances permit, I will probably do the recreational sport license first, just because I can get that right now. I show them my
John,
driver's
I can
license. So I've
I can
talked
see
about it
you.
before.
I can see you in a glider, John. Honestly,
I don't want to do the glider, but I will definitely do the light sport.
I just picture you in a glider.
My
I don't know
dad
why,
might.
but
Well, yeah, the baby picture of me in the glider probably.
oh well, that may be the
Yeah,
subliminal trigger. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah.
True.
Wow.
Does AOPA know your Uber driver rating? There's
I had somebody give me just like a regular casual ride. I had somebody give me like a 1 star. Like it was one of my first rides, so it hit the rating pretty abruptly. But just like a regular ride, I forgot where it was. It was probably on the West Coast somewhere. Like just a normal ride, no talking. Got in, said hello. You know, I was on my phone, and then got out like 10 minutes later, like usual. And I was
He
like,
gave you
that's
a 1 star.
yeah, because someone in the next driver said, "Why is your rating so low?" I said, "I've only taken a couple rides. Like, I don't know. Like,
unfriendly passenger.
it's just very yeah, it's very just
as
like weird." I was kind of like,
as an Uber and Lyft driver, I basically give everyone 5 stars because I
yeah,
want a tip.
There you go.
yeah, just disgruntled employee, I suppose. But
I
needless to say, we got that scrubbed off the record.
if I run into a situation where someone is really rude or horrible, I may give them a low rating. Yeah, I'm not. I was just kidding about the tip thing, but as an Uber and Lyft driver, what's crazy is when the mom comes out, she's late for work. You go to her house, you're picking her up, and she's bringing her 2-year-old out with her without a car seat, and you have to say sorry. You can't take this ride because you have to have a
Oof.
car seat. It's law for the size of a
Ooh,
child.
Yep.
Um, and it's difficult because she's already late for work and you accepted the ride and whatever. But anyway,
jeez.
we're getting off track. But yeah, I would like to get I would like to fly in the real world left seat for sure, and not with an instructor. But in the meantime, I do get to live vicariously through. I probably have a half a dozen guys right now that I could show up and they'll take me up in the air. So I'm really lucky with regard
Yeah.
to
That
Twitch.
Anytime.
yeah.
That's
That honestly, that's
love you
that's
talk.
what's been the craziest thing is that like even like you know I think we talked about it before, but when Gibbs took me up, it was last summer we
Yeah,
went up and like just Gibbs first time meeting him IRL,
yeah,
but through Twitch I guess somehow he trusted me enough and he was like, dude, you're flying it.
yeah.
That's and I was like, Josh, let's hang on now, right? He's like, nope,
Yeah,
nope, you're going,
yeah,
and I'm like, oh baby, all right, here we
yeah.
go. Yep.
How do I check my driver rating?
I was just
Or
looking
not
at that.
driver
So
rating.
if you go to the app and you just click that little 3 bar thing in the top left corner, it
Uh-huh.
says your name and the stars. 4.83 for me if you're curious.
They've
So,
never rated me.
well, you are in North Dakota. There's probably not too many Ubers. No,
Actually,
don't take
no,
too
we
many
have a
rides.
lot. We have a
Really?
lot of Ubers.
Wow.
Yeah, it's Uber and Lyft it like took off. We had maybe one 2 years ago, and now we have probably like 30 or 40. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've ridden
That
with none of them.
is. Well, there you go. That's why you have no ratings. That's funny.
Well, I mean, I from to and from like airports, in other places. So like Minneapolis, I've done probably 9 or 10 other places, I guess too.
Yeah.
But
Now, when is the day in which we get Uber plane rides? No?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I turned down the opportunity off the tangent. I turned down an autonomous vehicle on Lyft when I was in Vegas.
Really?
It offered to have an autonomous self-driving vehicle pick me up in Vegas at the Flamingo, believe it or not, and or maybe it was across the street at the Bally's or something. But anyway, I said no, and in the past I'm like, yeah, I'd get in one of those, but for some reason I hesitated for a second. But it was a self-driving car in Vegas on Lyft. Now the planes, self-driving
there are
planes, that would
regulations
be
that oh,
No, no,
sorry.
no, no,
so
no,
it'll
no.
I
Just
come,
no.
it'll come. But you're talking about
Just a,
you're
a
just
regular Uber style, like
hey,
you got a couple of old dudes sitting at the airport,
yeah.
sitting around
If
waiting for some guy to
uh,
take a hike down to
if
Minnesota.
if Austin Meyer picked me up in his VTOL,
Oh God.
I would take that ride.
Honestly, I was so confused by that presentation. I tried to figure out what like was it a concept in the sim first and then he
Yeah,
built it in real life, or was it an IRL and then he built it in the sim?
I
It sounded like he
I
it was a
think
sim concept,
I think he built it in the sim
and then
and then built it
built
IRL.
it. Yeah, and
that's
he
freaky.
got an investor, and
That's scary. I don't know. Wow. I mean, it was cool to see it. actually fly IRL. But 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 man, that looks like a scary machine, man. I don't know. It's just like a big helicopter.
Yeah.
It's like a helicopter meets a car. Really, is
Yeah.
what it
Yeah.
came down to. My question was, did those blades? Did it do the whole kind of like Osprey routine where the blades would turn so he can propel forward, or I don't know if it was just kind of like a hovering.
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
know.
yeah.
What I wanted to ask him, and I didn't have a chance to, was, um, is he going to make that plane available for us in X-Plane?
Be better.
I'm sure. I'm
Because
sure.
I'm sure that the inside modeling is junk right now because he's concentrating on the on
The
just
flight
the
model.
flight model. But I think eventually we would like to. I mean, you could hire a Gorin or someone to do the interior, right?
Oh my
True.
gosh. Did you meet
Yes.
Goran,
Oh yeah,
John?
oh yeah,
Oh
great
He's the
guy.
nicest
wow.
guy.
Yeah,
Very
He's so
cool.
yeah,
nice.
leading
You meet Ben
edge,
from
hot
X Plane?
start. I talked to Ben at the one in Vegas. I didn't talk to him in Orlando this time. He's
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, he's
smart,
that's like
smart, smart dude.
very, very.
Yeah,
He's like the brains behind X Plane. It seems
yeah.
at this point, very, very good guy. But yeah, we're getting back to Expo now, which I'm sure we're gonna have a tendency to do the entire rest
All right.
of
Yeah.
the show.
That was a good question. There's another one here. I think we already answered that one. It was wanting to start with X-Plane and P3D recommended hardware specs. We already talked about that.
Yeah.
Quick question, and I know what the answer is going to be to this. Do you think PE should go to the EU? This is one that could be answered in one word. What do you guys?
Okay,
What are your
so
thoughts?
as far as PilotEdge.net is concerned, that's not an advertisement, is it?
TM.
TM.
Me personally, would like to see the rest of the U.S. but first, right? The only, and I'll get to the EU part of the question in just a moment. And everyone asks for expansion, and everyone wants their home areas covered. It
More and more, yeah.
more and more and more. You want to do it. You want to be able to fly in your home areas. I get it. I understand it. When Salt Lake City opened up, I was like, yeah. So it all comes down to the number of users, right? If we doubled the amount of active subs on PilotEdge, I think the expansion would happen slowly but surely. Like whatever the next sector is over from Denver, into Texas or whatever. Or I don't want to see a fragmentation though, where I'd like to see the zones contiguous, meaning you can fly through, or maybe they could open up, New York or Atlanta or something like Dallas Fort Worth, and you could fly from say Denver or Phoenix or Albuquerque into Dallas or to Atlanta or to New York. I guess that would work to some degree, but with regard to Europe, the I just don't know. I think the ratio of flight simmers in Europe is high, that someone could justify a PilotEdge in Europe and probably get the numbers, but it's going to take a year or two of losing money before you get up to the current sustainable level that PilotEdge is. PilotEdge
Yeah.
can afford to have X amount of people. There's a dozen controllers or more, and they've got an established customer base. I think it would take a year or two of losing money before you'd see it profitable. That's something that I don't want PE to take on themselves. Now, could it be a PE franchise situation? Maybe. I would like to see a
Hmm.
quality, good audio codec in Europe where I could fly, even if it was a subscription-based model.
Yeah, I think that the thing with PE though, and like the expansion is people are like misinformed and they believe that, you just you get some guy out of like Embry-Riddle who just finished up, wrapped up his ATC training, whatever it might be,
Yeah.
and they're like they just, they take the map and they just extend the line a bit further. Like they have to there's a lot that goes into expanding your coverage area in terms of getting the
Terrain.
data.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
learning the procedures, right?
Yeah.
Confirming staffing of those areas, right? So I mean, it's not just simply like, okay, Jim, why don't you go ahead and we're just gonna open up the map today. You're gonna start controlling, up to O'Hare. It's like
Yeah.
there's so much more behind the scenes than just, you know, taking your map and widening the range out a bit. And I
Yeah.
think that like, I mean, it's actually, I shouldn't say it's young. PilotEdge has been around for quite a while, no?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite
Yeah,
a bit.
but still, I mean, anything is possible in the future. I don't see them declining in their growth. I mean, it's a very coveted service
No.
for real world training and stuff like that. So I think that the only way to go is up, and potentially associated with up is more areas to fly in, which would be the like sensical kind
Yeah.
of thing
At
to do with that.
at
But
the end of
as
the
far as
day,
Europe goes,
I think we need an angel investor that's willing to set it up, and then pay. You got to pay the. I think you're going to probably have to pay somewhere in the neighborhood of $20 or €20 per hour to these controllers, and again, it's going to take a time to grow and get trained staff. But at the get go, you can purchase. I mean, if PilotEdge is willing to franchise it, you could purchase the technology because they do have a lot of proprietary stuff. Now,
Right.
PilotEdge itself would love to go everywhere,
yeah,
but they need the numbers. And
yeah,
to be very, we're all PilotEdge fans, all three of us here. But to be open and frank, will PosCon and or VATSIM new codec or improvements on IVEO, does that bite into the potential of subscriptions down the road? That's something that an angel investor in Europe would have to consider, because the truth is that if VATSIM and IVEO didn't exist, we right now, even in its present form, we would probably have a bigger PilotEdge. It just comes down to finances.
yeah. That
I
sounds
agree.
like everything else in the rest of the world, I suppose. But I
Everything's a
mean,
business.
Yeah,
well, the thing is, like, most things that we have in Flight Sim are just a one-time fee, right? There's very few subscription-based services, so
yeah,
you know, maybe some people aren't really just so readily just keen to purchase a subscription-based platform
yeah,
or a service, and then the problem is the company then has to retain that customer, and they have to keep up with that, right? Because you give Flight Factor $60 and you have your aircraft, right,
yep,
forever,
yep,
until you have to buy a new version. But
yep,
with PilotEdge, it's continuous billing, and some people may say, well, do I really need it this month?
yeah,
And so you may get a huge influx of people that would sign up for the EU, if that's going to be a thing in the future. But then how many of those will you actually keep, after they use the service and say, well, do I really need to be on this network, and is it
yeah,
worth this and that? So I think
yeah,
that's the problem, is that you honestly could get a ton of money, open it back up, but then the rug could pull out from under you if you lose all those subscribers, right?
yep.
And then controllers are out of jobs, for example. So there could be it's a very fine line, I guess, they have to walk.
At the end of the day, you need someone over there also to spearhead it.
Yep.
You need someone that's familiar with some of the different rules and just has their finger on the pulse of the flight sim community. You need a leader over there, and then who's to say that they can't find an investor from another continent, but you need a leader there.
Yeah,
I vote
I
for
agree.
Mungo.
I guess I'll vote for Munger. All
Yeah.
right, fine.
Good question.
That's funny.
Good
Yeah, that
question.
actually was.
That's a
It
very good
was.
question.
We
Yes.
get that a lot though, right? Because we actually had. Well, we were on an undisclosed network the other day on my channel. We were flying in Europe into London City, and we actually had air traffic control type services
Yeah.
unofficially provided to us by others,
Yeah.
and it was authentic as it gets. I mean, the accents were real. The procedures may not have been the most real, but honestly, I think I would enjoy flying around Europe because you always want to not challenge yourself in flight sim, but you want to learn something new. If you get bored of a plane, go on VATSIM and try flying their procedures. Right? You get bored of flying in the U.S.,
Yeah.
go over to Asia and see how they do things. That's a whole new can of worms to open up. Is just traveling to a different airspace and
Yep.
seeing how they operate. So yeah,
If any of you guys
Um,
have questions, be sure to click on that link in the chat. We're not going to, unfortunately, we can't answer all of the questions in the live chat room. So submit there if you want us to talk about something in
I
particular.
do have one more thing. Speedbird said PE partnered with the FAA to become an actual trainer. I think that might become a thing at some point too. If you guys saw, if you were at Expo, you saw that Steve or Flight Chops was there,
I had a
and he was
good
actually
picture with
making a
him.
video. Yeah, he was making a video. You know what, John? We didn't get a picture together, which I'm kind of upset about
I think we do. I think I have one
next
with
year.
you.
Really?
I
Oh,
think I
okay.
think
But
so.
Secretly.
secretly, yeah, yeah, just secretly out of the corner of the room. But no, Steve was making a video about the whole like flight training aspect. He's building his own like cockpit with whatever the real sim or the what is it called? Real sim or
Real sim gear.
Yeah.
yeah, real sim gear. And he's doing that. So I think that's going to be really good publicity for what is it? PE. Wow, not on the brain. So if that video were to be very successful, I think he can recruit. And Steve's got what close to 300,000 subs
Oh yeah.
on YouTube, so
Yeah.
he's big influence with the IRL market. But it seems like he's going to be moving towards the whole flight training with the simulation and whatnot. So I think that'll be kind of cool.
Yeah. Speaking of flight shops, he was so gracious to have a conversation with me right near the Real Sim Gear booth. I love his YouTube's content, but I was asking him, I was talking to him, of course, about Twitch, and he says, "Yeah, there's some guy on Twitch that actually has my name and has an automated bot that when I release a video on YouTube, it immediately goes and just does a live stream on Twitch of my video." And he's been trying to get it legally taken down for like a while, and
Oh my gosh.
I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Are you joking me? I gotta find this now. That's funny.
Yeah, so there's some guy out there that's trying to. It'll be dealt with, I'm sure, but it was. I would love to see flight shops and Steve-O in the Twitch verse. That would
Be neat.
be pretty cool.
Would be pretty. All right, very very good question there. John, this one goes to you from Cajun Cacti. How did you enjoy non-rev flying?
Oh my goodness.
Oh
So
yeah.
okay, so I got it's very kind of our captain who we know in the Twitch chat to offer me a buddy pass on the airline. I wouldn't have gone to Flight Sim Expo actually without that. And then whenever you take a buddy pass, you are the last priority on standby. So I kind of went into the whole situation realizing that I would probably be interrupted with my travel. Now that's why I decided to leave on Thursday instead of Friday. Well,
Okay.
Thursday's flights were totally fine. I got there no problem. But I tried to get out Sunday morning, and literally 6 attempts to get out from Sunday morning until Sunday night at 10:30. Couldn't get out. Airport closed for a while. That caused a lot of cancellations, delays, problems, etc. Long story short, Mustafa, who's in the GSA, let me stay in his room back at the Renaissance that night. And I'll tell you what, my live stream from the airport and everyone in Discord just kind of following my story, I was happy. I was fine. I didn't care. Next day, I got up, tried to get out again. Several last minute, nope, you're not getting on this plane. Decided last second to jump on a plane to Baltimore, and someone said, "You're going further away from Salt Lake." And I said, "I know, but I'm just going to try it. Again, I'm getting out of Orlando. I'm done. Get out of Baltimore." Got home to Salt Lake City. Um, yeah, whenever you're flying non-revenue buddy pass type situations, basically always plan on a day, an extra day either side.
Interesting.
But that's
Yep.
the reason I went to Expo is because of that buddy pass.
Well, the problem is though, like, how can you plan a trip around a non? Like, I'm curious, like, with the hotel, like, what if you got in the? Well, you got in a day early, no? Right?
Yeah, I got in a day early, so I had to
So
book another night. Yeah, it's dicey sometimes. Yep.
yeah, exactly right. And then
Yeah.
they're like, well, if you want to pay
Yep.
another night, here you go. You're going to jack up the price. So that's the problem though. If like you don't want to have a set, if you need that last minute ticket,
Yeah.
great, right?
Yeah.
Or if you have somewhere to stay when you get there, but trying to plan a whole trip based on that,
Yeah.
that sounds like a
It's
crazy
impossible.
headache to me. But you pulled it off. I mean, that's impressive. I mean,
Yeah.
that's but a lot of waiting. Yeah, I'd be way too impatient. I can't sit at the airport for more than my allotted time because people
Yeah.
just are.
In my
People at the
situation, I
airport are
didn't have
awful.
a full-time job to get back to on Monday either. Some people, it's like I got to get back. I got to be back to work on Monday morning or school or what, family or whatever. Right, girls. Hey, we'll see you when you get home. Thanks. Because the airfare to Salt Lake City or from Salt Lake City to Orlando would have been about $600-700. But yeah, Cajun Cacti, thanks. D Money's, you're right to question. I love it when people question us. It's awesome. It's good. Yeah, it was a gamble and it paid off. But
That's
Anyway,
funny. Um, Garg asked a very, very good question. How excited are you for Vulkan? Should we believe the performance graphs given to us by Laminar?
I, this is like the whole thing with the new flight sim, right? You don't know
yeah,
until you have it, but like,
Exactly.
but it's so dependent on your hardware, your add-ons, and a default sim. I wouldn't question those. I wouldn't question those graphs one single bit. But when people throw so much crap in their sim and they don't optimize their sim, and they're like, well, we have Vulkan now, and I'm not getting my extra 30 FPS that nobody promised me, right?
yeah.
Then everyone's gonna throw a tantrum. But I mean, if you know your sim well, and if you have everything set up like it not should be, but would be optimal, I think you'll see a performance increase. But when you start adding every add-on you add to your sim will take away FPS.
Yep.
Yep.
The exception of X Enviro, I guess.
Yep.
Um, or sorry, X Vision rather. Too many X's. But
Did you? I noticed something that was interesting about those graphs, and maybe you guys did as well. Did you see what video card they were using?
mm-mm.
980.
Wow.
All of those Vulkan graph comparisons were done on a 980. So
Wow.
what we're
Can
see
somebody link that again?
what we're seeing is I love it when a developer like a Total Rico, he'll develop his TBM 900 on a potato computer. That way he knows that there's gonna be some people out there that may not have a very good system, and it's gonna work well. So yeah, 980. Was it a TI? Yeah, I was like a 980, really? Wow. So
But
that
then again, I get probably stock knowing Laminar since my impression is they don't really know what add-ons are available to the simulator,
yeah
I guess. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's. I think it's not going to be maybe like this most like romantic and drastic of like these FPS boosts, but more of like just a more proper utilization of your hardware, and
yeah
like you won't have like this crazy situation where you're getting
yeah
30 frames per second and your CPU is only being utilized 40%, right?
yeah
Maybe you'll jump
Yep.
maybe you'll jump to 45 frames and it'll be used 80% or something. I don't
yeah
know, right? But
yeah
it's a step. I don't think it's a step backwards by any means. Right?
yeah.
It's going to be good in some regard, but you got to wait until we have it in our hands. It's not going to be the end all to the FPS issues that people may have.
It's going to give
No.
us. I think it's going to give us some scalability. We'll be able to see. I think the backward compatibility is key, but I also think it's one day they need to drop the open GL entirely. But it will take time
It'll
to
take a lot of
Yeah,
time.
get rid of that. But and then the metal's on the Mac side. Is that right?
I don't
Because
know.
there's Vulkan slash metal. I
I
think
think the metal
I'm
is
not a Mac.
the Mac. Yeah.
I think so. But yeah, it's like I say, if you look at that chart, I didn't. Did anyone find it? It does say a
I don't think
980.
so.
So the frame rates that you're seeing there, if any of you have a 1080 or a 2070 or 2080, it's you're going to see considerably more performance than what that graph depicts.
It's still crazy to think how X-Plane was developed on a Mac, right?
Yeah.
And it's
Yep.
funny now how I don't want to say most because it's not true, but like some of the larger add-ons are not compatible with Mac on an originally designed Mac
Yeah.
program.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
that must hurt those
Let
guys down
alone
to their core.
Linux. Yeah.
Jesus, that's the one interesting part is that you see so many problems on like the X-Plane forums with Linux, and I'm like, I don't,
Why? Why?
I don't, yeah, I'm like, just come on, guys, just come on, get off of that.
How much resource could we have put back into just the PC platform if we dropped the Linux?
Yeah, I mean, but hey,
I'm
but
speaking blasphemy to some though. Some live
but
by
it's
it.
still great though that they support all those because that can't be said for other flight sims. So I mean, there's definitely some.
It's nice to be cross-platform compatible, but again, how much does that take away? How much of a resource does that take away based on the number of users? Is there I need to do a cost benefit analysis if they would just give me the numbers. I'd like to know how many people actually use Linux.
Yeah, yeah,
I like Linux, don't get me wrong.
Windows guy myself. I have a MacBook somewhere around here that I use as a laptop, but just because I had issues with Windows laptops in the past, and the Macs run like a machine and they last for a while, so I figured I get that. It works nice.
I want support. At the end of the day, I don't care if it's Mac, Linux, or Windows. I just want to be able to type in a problem into Google or into a forum or go to a Discord and have the majority of the users that I have access to help me solve the issue. Because as you guys know, we as Twitch streamers often have problems that are solved by our chat rooms, or another streamer even will help us live or not. And then we have the forums and the discords. They're valuable for tech support. So the fact is that the majority of people are on Windows. So
I agree with that.
yep. Delta 213 can't leave home without his Linux.
That's true. That's true.
Well,
He actually
Android's
weird.
based on Linux, I think, as well.
It is.
Yeah.
I see. It's like, I don't know. I had a couple Androids once, and the same thing. It was almost like that Windows laptop. I was like, you want to know what? I just can't do this.
Yeah.
I just, not for me.
Yeah.
Not for
I
me.
love my MacBook. Okay, so Bruce, if you are still here, hopefully you are. I can answer this one really quickly. So he has a i9-9900K at 5.0 with a 2080 Ti.
Wow. Why is that so slow, Bruce? Only, jeez.
Shut up. And 32 gigabytes of RAM, running on a 50-inch curved TV as a monitor. Trying to make the lines of scenery on the ground stop moving. So with that, what you have to do is you have to change your anti-aliasing. I'm not sure where it is, but with the 2080, I think the max you'd want to do is like it's 4 times. It's like the second 4 times. So that line, how those lines are generated or how they're taken away is that anti-aliasing, because it's trying to remove the jaggedness of whatever lines in the sim.
Is it a 4K TV?
I would assume so.
If it's 4K, turn anti-aliasing off completely.
Yeah.
Both
if it's
in
4K,
in the sim and in NVIDIA settings. Yeah.
But then
if it's not,
but if it's not 4K,
if it's
then
if it's
you'd move
2K or 1080, then you could
move that anti-aliasing up.
I
And even if it is a 4K monitor, you might as well give that a try, because I know it's going to reduce performance, but it might get rid of that jaggedness.
Yeah.
So I'd give that a try.
See, we're doing tech support on the PB&J show.
Doing
amazing.
Great.
I will say
we are gonna bill you, by the way, Bruce. So expect
exactly.
That.
Yep.
I will say
that'll be $50.
Just a small comment on monitors in general. I used a 40-inch 4K TV as my simulator PC for a long time. It's kind of a pain when you're doing streaming, but it was beautiful to me. What I learned is that if the sweet spot is really 2K. At present, the sweet spot for X-Plane, these guys can comment on P3D more than I can lately, but for X-Plane, the 2K, I don't see the difference in, say, the Zebo 737, for example. I don't see the difference between the 2K and the 4K at this point.
I honestly don't think there really is.
Yeah, so I went to a 27-inch Predator Asus G-Sync compatible monitor from the 40-inch 4K, and now I'm down to 2K, and I have the great I have the great 144 hertz and the low millisecond response time. So if any of you guys are out there debating if you should improve your monitor situation, at present, the 2K 27-inch is, in my opinion, the way to go.
I think it's a sweet spot. Yeah, because
I agree with that.
don't forget, go ahead, run 4K and whatever you want, but a flight sim, you can make that as absolutely hard in your PC as you want, even without intention. So, I mean, you really have to think about, is that quality, the extra bit worth for but it's very taxing on your system, whereas other games it might not be. But I mean, 2K looks great on all my stuff, and I've had this monitor now for well over, I think probably about a year and a half. I've had this one, and I saw a frame decrease, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been spending some time fine tuning things and stuff like that, and it's gotten back up, and I still get it's great. I mean, I get amazing performance, and I'm wondering, my frames must be just like 60 all day, every day, back on 1080p.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just reading chat. Tylenol asks what AA on the 2K.
Are you
I know
answering
that,
questions in chat?
Well, no, I just saw it and I figured might as well answer it. Since we're on the topic. How dare you? Oh wait, I'm looking the wrong way.
I
thought I was on
looked
the
the
other
wrong
side.
way.
I thought I was on the other
I was
side.
like, why is Puck looking out the window?
I use 2x. Anything over that just reduces my frames by like 15. So 2x is the sweet spot for me.
Yeah.
So
Great.
yeah.
There we go.
All right.
2K it is. By 2K.
There it is. 2K is definitely the best for X-Plane. 4K for P3D, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Do you
All
have
right.
4K?
Well, no. No, I do not, Brad. See, now
Can't
I'm
answer
using
that
it.
then.
Nope. Well, Nico said it, so I believe Nico.
Stop.
I believe him. Has a bar? Wait, wow, sorry. Has the bar been set for 3D clouds? Is it even worth releasing a weather add-on that isn't? Wait, I'm sorry. What?
I think it's a XEnviro based kind
Oh
of question
yeah.
without including XEnviro.
I was going that I was
Yeah.
thinking that same thing. I'm like, I think he's referring because at present the only 3D clouds that we have for X-Plane are with XEnviro. None others have 3D clouds, right?
Correct. In
Yeah.
X-Plane, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say I'm going to step away for a quick minute. My answer to this is the bar has to be set at some point. Doesn't matter how high, how low, how in the middle. You have to at least establish a starting point, and you have to also kind of admit or agree, whatever you want to prefer, that it's a step in the right direction, and it is new technology that we are happy to have.
Yeah.
It definitely needs to be refined, fine-tuned, but I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
I I will say that your X Vision the other
Oh,
night
oh,
looked
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, Puck and I use the same preset now, and it looks
Yeah.
super,
It
super
looks
cool.
Yeah.
fantastic.
It's great. It's a tweak off of the Vivid preset, and it just, I mean, I was blown away when
Yeah.
I put it back in my sim. So
Yeah.
Well,
looks nice.
Brad, we were at dinner and it was Bearded Yeti was talking to us about it, and he was like, "Yeah, look at these screenshots." And he was handing his phone over, and we're like, "Oh my god!" So
It looked really, really good.
then he linked it to us, and so downloaded it right away when I got home on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Will not look back. Fantastic. Set.
All right, be right back.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. With
We'll
regard to XEnviro, obviously I've been using it for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 streams, and there's moments where it shines, but then there's also moments where it's like, okay, the noise, the pixelation, the volumetric doesn't look good close up. In some cases, and in other cases it does. So it's almost as if we're beta testing or we're the guinea pigs for the next round of volumetric clouds for X-Plane. I like, to me, honestly, I don't mind paying to play around with something that is in constant development. I mean, how often do we get X-Plane 11 updates? And so in some ways you could say that, oh, they update so often, it's always changing, there's always issues. You don't have to elect to go to the latest beta. Same thing with XEnviro.
True.
If you bought 1.07 or whatever, you don't have to upgrade to 1.10. Watch YouTube, watch a live stream, make your decision. And maybe you don't have it at all. You can wait until it gets to a point where you're like, okay, that's the clear winner. The truth is right now we honestly have 4 different viable options for weather with X-Plane. With P3D, I use Active Sky for, Active Sky whatever 2016 or whatever, and I used either Rex or Active Sky Cloud Art. You have a few options on the P3D side of things as well, but I think that you have much better clouds over there. So hopefully, on the X-Plane side, we see improvements, and yeah, basically people are going to speak with their wallets.
I agree with that. Speaking to the wallet.
Yeah.
We'll wait for the next question until. Oh, here he is.
Speaking of the Brad.
Speak of the devil. Here he is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, perfect timing, Brad. We just got done with that last question.
Great.
So,
one second. Can I just acknowledge
sure.
the host from Gong Show Kid 561? Thank you, Rich.
Thank you, Rich. That was a very rich thing to do.
Also, Off-Sked Descent, I missed it earlier. Tier 2 sub, and ATC Fly Guy with the sub
Tier
crab.
2.
Thank you.
We got a subscribe.
John, I've mentioned this before, and I feel it's more personable to do this actually speaking to you live rather than in your chat where you could potentially ignore me. But honestly, I miss the Invisisticks. That was a big, huge perk of subscribing was to watch you rock the Invisisticks,
And
and I hope they make a return soon.
I'm not gonna lie, I can't find them. And I because I was gonna bring them out for a special, if someone hit the 2 year or whatever, I was gonna maybe keep them for the 2 year and maybe the 3 year. I can't find them. I'm
It was
really
great, like watching you on like a final approach or something, or like just on departure, and you like drop what you were doing, and I was like, it was fun. Yeah,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
fun.
Is the best.
I'm gonna have to look harder. I honestly looked for them twice, extensively. Sometimes the children will hide things. I found a $5 bill in the small kids oven. The toy kitchen. I'm like, open up the
Wow.
oven, and there's a $5 bill in there. I'm like,
The question is, what were you doing in that oven, John? What were you just
Whoa.
baking, trying to bake a little
well, back in my
pizza,
day,
maybe?
we had a thing called the Easy Bake Oven.
Yes,
And are you old enough to know what that is? Do they still
I'm
have it?
I'm
They
very
do
old.
still have it,
Okay.
yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that's
I still use it.
yeah. Yeah, there's all kinds of. You should see our room, the playroom during the day. It's like a bomb went off. And then of course, my son, who's 3 years old, Flyboy, has a neighbor friend over, and they're jumping on. I'm away actually in Orlando, and Right Girl sent me the video. Flyboy is jumping up and down on the couch, and he's got a cowboy hat on, and he suddenly yells, "We gotta subscribe!"
Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
God, that's amazing. Wow.
Anyway, yep,
Wow, that's funny.
yeah, he's a
That's
supporter.
good.
He's a fan.
He
That's
is.
funny. All right, gentlemen.
Keep her moving.
John, I know that you used to be a two PC guy, but Brad, if you had the money, would you go with a two PC setup? Why?
Yeah, I have the money for it. I just don't want to spend it on the two PC setup. It just doesn't,
Bingo.
it's one of those things that right now, like, the question is the X amount of dollars worth the question mark frames, right? Listen, I hate math so much, but you have to do that kind of math
No,
because what would you see? 5, 10
10
frames?
at most. Yeah.
Yep.
Which, in some cases, if you're flying, let's say, FS Labs in Los Angeles, for example,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you may have 20 or 30 frames. Sure, another 10 would be great. But if I'm already at, 50, 55, like, I don't care about getting to 60 or I'm at 40, I'm okay with not getting to 50. So,
Yeah.
question is spend this money on add-ons, right? Giveaways, etc., or a new PC, which is going to be a whole other world of headaches from what I understand just right
Yes.
off the bat, having to buy a capture card and then all this audio configuration and like, I, I don't know.
That's kind of my thought process behind it is I have one I can use. It's just setting it up with the capture card. There actually, if you use OBS Studio, there's a way that you can link them through your internet connection, and it does the same trick without having to use any of the audio configuration things, no capture card, whatever. I've used it in the past. It works phenomenally. No loss in quality. Yeah, NDI. No loss in quality, and I've used that a few times, and it's a pain to get set up and whatnot. And if that computer slows down, it'll slow the stream down and whatever, you'll lag, and
Mm.
but nothing affects your computer, which is nice. Um,
Honestly, I wonder if I have a MacBook Pro, I wonder if that can,
you might be
you know,
able to, yes, yeah,
If I recall correctly, JSnap 1982 may have streamed through a capture card that was connected to a Mac. I may be totally off on that, but I, for
I've done it
one, do
before.
not miss the two PC setup. And you kind of hit the nail on the head. The capture card is not an issue, right? But the obviously, if you have a 4K TV, you have to go with the higher end capture card. But
Yep.
audio was the biggest problem for me. Syncing audio. Uh, Suddenly now, okay, well, PilotEdge the stream needs to hear you. Oh, but PilotEdge also needs to hear you. So you have to route audio to both your sim PC as well as your streaming PC. There was a lot of headaches with that. I'm going to give you one tip though. For any of you out there that are streaming now on one computer, and who knows, Brad and Puck, you guys may do this. I found a huge advantage. You know how we all have a monitor that has the Streamlabs OBS on a separately from the sim monitor. If that second monitor that you utilize for chat and OBS and whatever else, if you can run that off of your onboard graphics, it makes a huge difference, right?
How do you go about doing
So
that?
basically, your motherboard has to have a VGA 15-pin adapter, and
Sure.
then you have to enable it in the BIOS. That monitor, so this second monitor doesn't use my 1080 Ti whatsoever. And then you have the I have the 2K monitor plugged into the 1080 Ti. So again, the more monitors you have plugged into the same video card, the more
Yeah.
GPU and CPU it's utilizing. Whereas if you put it on that main motherboard VGA connection for your non-streaming stuff, and OBS works fine, a chat, and even a web browser or two, this, that, and the other. I would highly recommend that you look into that. But some motherboards don't have
Yeah.
onboard video.
But that'll also eat up your CPU.
No, but
No.
if
It's
it's
a
using
separate
if it's
bus.
using
It's
your,
a separate
yeah,
bus,
because
and in
the
my
CPU
case,
has.
you know,
Sorry, go ahead.
Because I offloaded. I did the same thing. I said, I have a HDMI port on my motherboard, right? I figured I would just give it a go with the integrated graphics, and I figured this is my solution. I was like, you know,
taking
jokes on
load off the
everybody else.
GPU.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm taking the load off. This is amazing, right? I plugged it in, and performance just it not tanked, but there was a noticeable decrease,
huh?
and there was a noticeable increase in the CPU usage as a result of having that OBS monitor on there, and it was
I
definitely way slower. I was
And
kind of
I
like,
wonder if it's related to which motherboard and architecture, and if whether or not
yeah,
your
potentially.
HDMI, maybe your HDMI is pulling more than VGA would with regard to the CPU usage. I don't know, but
I also
mine.
wonder.
No,
Oh, sorry.
go
You
ahead.
finish your thought.
No, go ahead.
Well, I also wonder if it's a thing to do with how many cores you have. So CPU utilization. So I know both John and I, we have 6 core, 12 threads. Brad has 4 and 4, or you have eight
Yeah,
cores, whatever, 4 8 thread. I wonder if the added bonus of having those threads will help at all with that. But I do see a huge, because I'm using 3 monitors. I just have one for like if I have something open like my flight plan or project fly or whatever on my third monitor, so it's
Yeah,
not really being used.
yeah,
Second monitor is just for OBS, and then I have my chat and whatever integrated inside of OBS,
yeah,
and then the sim.
yeah,
But I see big performance differences if I disable this monitor and only run off 2. So I'm wondering maybe I'll give that a try at some point,
yeah.
and that might work.
It's worth experimenting. I have an MSI motherboard, and in this present situation, I actually get better frames. I'm also using the NV encoder, the new NV ENC that some people
yeah. The
are.
new one, I guess they
Yeah,
promised performance increases and better clarity. I said,
yeah,
why would I not try it? And it's been working wonders. I can't really attest to an increase, but I
yeah.
haven't seen a decrease.
Someone told me that
I
it works better with the RTX line of cards,
It
but
does.
it's
Yeah.
working fine for me. I mean, like right now, I'm using 12% CPU all on this stream, so that's phenomenal.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
All right, that's a bit off of the flight simulation category, but definitely in the
That's a good
streaming
question.
category. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, good question there. Piper. Okay, this is another PC question. I'll answer this one really quickly. My PC has an i7 something and a GTX 550. The settings are all the way down. You only get 5 to 15 FPS. Piper, the reason you're only getting 5 to 15 FPS is because a GTX 550 is what I used to have. It has 1 gigabyte of VRAM, which X-Plane uses a minimum of 3 gigs. And then you have an i7 core paired with almost a 9-year-old CPU, or sorry, GPU.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to get anything more than 15 FPS, you got to ditch the 550 and you got to move up to maybe like a 1050 or something. And they're very cheap. They're very cheap nowadays. So I would say do that. That is going to get you most of your FPS back. And then at some point along the line, upgrade that i7. If you don't know what it is, upgrade it way down the line. But
Mm-hmm.
for sure, GPU needs to be upgraded immediately.
Yep.
That's my thought. But good question. Hopefully that helps. Um, um, Garg's been asking this question very frequently. Do you think Twitch will actually consolidate flight simulation channels?
I mean, Brad, I know you were working on that for a while, and in the past I had inquired about it with partner help. It's Josh is here. Hey, Josh.
Oh
There
boy.
he is.
If we're
Oh
lucky, we
boy.
can get him to make a
Yikes.
cameo at the very end of the talk show.
Oh
Maybe.
boy.
Maybe
Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
maybe. I don't
hoping.
know.
Josh, I don't know if you wanna make a cameo at the end, but our executive producers didn't want to take a last second change. We love you, Josh. Thanks for streaming. He's gonna
He's
probably
a good guy.
he's probably watching us live on his stream.
Oh, he definitely is.
Probably. Yeah,
Okay.
we're probably all
Totally.
pulled up there. Oh boy. All right, we better tidy up.
Anyone who rocks the Josh Gibbs emotes gets great karma for the rest of the weekend. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. What were we talking about? You said this was. Oh, here's the emote coming in. What was the question again? Oh, it was with Garg. So
Yeah,
the category,
consolidate.
so the flight simulation category. Obviously, we all prefer it. We all want it under one banner, right? And I guess the petition is now going, and I know that other people have tried to do similar things. I don't know how many signatures are on the petition, and I know that Fly Purdue and Brad, you and Puck, you and all of us want it, and I'm all in favor of it. Will it happen? It's kind of like Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. It's a wait and see. So, but I think it
Yeah,
would it
wait
would
and see.
list us higher in the browse category of Twitch, and it's not unprecedented that, say, for example, retro games has a category for a wide range of product.
Yep.
That
So
was my argument in the
no,
initial in the initial contact was or initial write up rather
no.
was that retro gaming. Yeah,
So yeah,
have
and
their own
then one last
category.
point is that, and I'll let this secret out of the bag. I've been holding this
Oh,
secret to myself for a long time now, and it's just waiting to burst out. I have purposely been streaming on X-Plane 11 only, except under this talk show and a few small scenarios. X-Plane 11 category, I wanted to try it for 6 months,
mm-hmm.
just because I wanted to bring more exposure to that channel possibility. But the plan was to go back to FSX channel July 1. Just to compare the 6 months. I was curious of comparing the 2 months. What I would love to have is a consolidated category. Go ahead. What are your opinions?
You say you cut out the last part. You want to
Go
have
ahead
what?
with your opinions on that. Sorry, I probably spoke too
You
much there.
you'd want them to be consolidated,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea. I don't see why not. If everybody, I see a lot of people streaming X-Plane that are streaming on Microsoft Flight Sim, so I see no problem in it. Of course, the executives at Twitch they're gonna take their time, of course. So we need to make this we need to make Flight Sim Twitch great again. So I'm
Jeez.
hoping at one point they figure it out. That's my thought
What I
process.
don't want to do for some reason is I don't want to be streaming X-Plane 12 under the Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 category.
Yes.
I
Funny.
don't want to do it.
But you have to agree with the recent. Obviously, E3 is a huge event, and everybody kind of not everybody, but a lot of the video gaming guys, tech guys, all tune in. So a lot of people saw the announcement, and what a lot of those guys are probably on Twitch. What's the first thing they searched of on Twitch was probably Microsoft Flight Sim, or even on Google, right? and what pops up is the FSX category on Twitch,
Yep.
right? So,
Yep.
I mean, you have to argue. A lot of people probably have found the FSX category on Twitch as a result of just simply even typing it in,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
So, I mean, because it is Microsoft Flight Simulator,
Yep.
the X
Yep.
part, people probably don't even know what that it means 10.
There's a beautiful heavy right behind you right now.
Oh wow, look at that!
And by the way, this is
Who
real
is that?
world traffic. I can't read the call sign yet.
Is that Air France? They
It
have
looks
Looks
a
like
little
it.
high. It's looking a little high on that approach, but
He's just flown it. No worries. No worries.
that was a Delta,
Looks
I've
wasn't
like
it?
seen
Air
Puck.
France. Yeah.
I've seen Puck do that all the time. Yeah,
That
gotta be
was
fine.
28 Center at O'Hare, guys, live. I love live traffic plugin. Oh my goodness. And by the way, this is X and Viral Clouds. I'm just putting that out there.
Oh really? Wow.
Yep.
Is Jan? Oh, okay.
Wait, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That looks surprisingly crisp.
Yeah.
That looks
And
awesome.
I have
it
found
also
that.
has some variation. While you're in the bathroom, I was saying that there are moments where it shines and then there's moments where it doesn't.
Look, they look really nice from far away. When I did the first stream of it, I loaded into Santa Barbara and had a beautiful LA overcast layer, right?
Yeah.
And it was I couldn't believe how amazing it looked from the ground. But once you get closer, you start to see the anomalies and stuff like that. But yeah, from the ground, you can't argue they look bad.
Going around due to three guys
Very
broadcasting on the runway.
That's funny.
It is definitely funny, Scotsman. That's good.
All right. Iowa Scotsman, speaking of, sorry if this was asked already, but what is your biggest take from FS Expo? Biggest take.
Biggest take, probably the goodie bag that I took.
Yes.
That was biggest take for sure.
It was quite a lot of
Yeah.
quite a lot of stuff in there.
I don't know, biggest
John.
take. I mean,
Just what was the question again? Sorry.
Biggest take from FS Expo. What was it? I just think. Well, no, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no. To me, the biggest take was probably let's put it this way: it wasn't X-Plane 11 mobile.
But you have to admit that was, to me, was the most impressive part of their presentation, was what they're doing with mobile compared to what is happening on PC. That was
I was
really
most impressed with the Vulkan graphs that they showed, but I can't. It's hard for me when I have a full blown sim to go do flight simulation on my iPad. It's just or iPhone. It's just too difficult.
I agree.
But I did say if I ever found myself in prison, I would smuggle an iPhone in just for X-Plane.
Oh, everyone's gonna be like, "Yo, let me make a phone call, right?
Yeah.
Come on, John." And you're like, "I gotta land my Cessna." You'd be in a lot of trouble. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
You'd find yourself in the infirmary quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I think the coolest thing was, again, Dead Horse coming back out to beat it, meeting people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Biggest take, people.
Mm-hmm.
Second biggest take was probably Honeycomb has, had a super huge hype as kind of like the next hero of hardware, but actually being able to be there and touch the equipment and say, is this worth $200 and something, right? Before you before you buy, because no one else has been able to,
Yep.
and actually fly in the sim with it.
Yep.
That was huge. And not just because like, whoa, I get to fly with the Honeycomb, but you're really just saying, do I believe in this? Do I want to spend the money on it, right? Is it going to be worth it? And that was,
I think it was
super cool. I mean, yeah, that was a nice booth they had set up, and they were very friendly. And
You know what I missed is I missed the new Thrustmaster joystick for the F-18. Another heavy coming in. I totally missed it. Squirrel showed it on a recap stream. I'm like, really? I was curious. I wanted to feel it to see. Apparently, it is interchangeable with my current Warthog.
Yep.
It is.
So
it actually feels very comfortable. Actually.
I didn't get a chance to go and I didn't even know that was announced. I missed
very ergonomic.
that. I was too
very nice. Yeah.
I was too enthralled with the espresso at the Just Chatting booth.
Yeah, the Just Chatting booth was pretty awesome.
There were
Got to
3
meet,
live streams at one point going on at that booth.
There were like 50, 60 fans just waiting to talk to all of us. It was fantastic. fans of the podcast, they loved it.
Hey, all 59 fans of us were present in Orlando, and we have 62 total fans, I think. Was that a Nippon? Was that a Nippon cargo inbound? Very nice.
I think it was.
Yeah.
It's a long flight.
All right, boys, we've got about a half hour left. If anyone wants to submit some, I don't
Keep
know
them
how many
rolling.
are left in the queue, but if you want to get your question in, I really do want a Josh cameo at the end, but maybe he doesn't like us anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I
That's
think
all
he's
right.
yeah. We probably turned him off, unfortunately.
That's whatever.
Um, here's
Hey,
a great
Max is here.
question.
Good morning,
Oh boy.
Max.
Oh boy. All right. Yikes. Max is here. Okay. Here's a good question though. Actually, since we all do stream, is it important as a streamer to have a fixed? We've actually probably covered this in the past, but is it important to have a fixed broadcast schedule?
You know, Brad, you were the one that turned me on to a fixed broadcast schedule, so you go for it.
I'm
You
glad you
answer this
finished that
one.
sentence, by the way. But I will totally agree. I think it's definitely beneficial. Not necessary, but beneficial because people know when they can expect you to go live, and then they can make arrangements to watch, fly,
Mm-hmm.
join in, rather than just a willy-nilly, fire it up. But at the same time, that's spontaneous. You know the word I'm looking for. That's also very, very nice as well, just to fire up Twitch and say, "Oh, look who's live." But I didn't know they were live, right?
Yeah,
You tune in.
yeah.
But I like to have my own schedule and my personal life fixed as well. So I just made it based off of that. Purely nothing else. Was
Mm-hmm.
just trying to figure out when can I do it, and I didn't try to see, when can the most amount of people show up. I just did it around my schedule, and then people, you know, I suppose, did it around theirs,
Yeah.
so to speak.
I
But
I
That's
I uh I don't have a schedule, but
well, you
as
you
as
you
you pretty much do
yeah
though.
well,
you
let me let me
subliminal.
let me elaborate. I don't set a schedule, so for example, I don't need to let people know that I'm not going to be there on a Saturday morning. But a lot of people expect me on a Saturday or Sunday morning, more Sunday morning than Saturday. But
Yeah,
and then obviously for the last 5 6 months, I've been pretty regular in the morning during the weekday. I have killed productivity at work for many of people. But it's nice. So I don't have a schedule per se, but I do. So it's kind of like, okay, yeah, I'm most likely going to be there. I
yeah,
do like regularity. I do like pizza Thursday with Brad. I haven't got Puck's schedule nailed yet, but
Working on it.
yeah. But I'd say that some of the bigger streamers actually will uh, when asked, I'm talking the big streamers outside of this category, flight simulation. They
yeah,
will
yeah,
they will tell you that a key is schedule, and I think because we're so small and so tied together, I think that some of us can just go live on the whim and be just fine, and then others, yeah, you do better having a schedule. And then, like Brad said, if it molds into your personal life schedule this way, you may have a significant other or a spouse that, hey, they know that you're going to be streaming on X night or X morning or X day, whatever. That's kind of nice for them, but also a benefit for people of when to expect you. I met
yeah.
Yuki
Yeah.
Notora at Expo. There were a couple things
Passed it
I
on.
was going to respond to in chat, but Brad, sorry, Max, Puck and Brad did answer your question that you submitted earlier, but
Yep.
you'll have
You were not awake.
you were
Yeah.
not in the stream, but they did. So there will be a highlight of that answering of your question. And yes, this is Creamers. This is real world traffic. So if you pull up, say, flightradar24.com right now on your web browser, and you look who's landing on 28 Center right now, someone's coming in, that is real world live traffic injected into the sim. I
Is
won't
that
go into
United
the,
Airlines coming in?
it
Wow.
might be.
Looks like
Hmm.
it.
I won't go into the how you do that portion except on my live stream. John Fly denting wallets, exactly. This is X Enviro Avgas, yeah. You need to schedule your
Um.
schedule. Yeah.
um. Oh, good. Very, very good question. So we were talking
Hmm.
about PilotEdge earlier.
Hmm.
Now we're going to move on to PosCon. Have you guys heard any news about the PosCon network? If so, what do you think?
Biggest announcement was the roadmap.
Yep.
The roadmap, and apparently we're going to see something in the second or is it the second or third quarter?
Second, third quarter, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, if there's not some sort of open beta by Vegas, I'll be honest, I'm going to be disappointed. If there's not at least 100 or 200 guys uh, showing on live streams and YouTube showing the PosCon network with good ATC top to bottom, whatever, by Vegas, I'll be disappointed. I love their crew. I love the idea of improved audio outside of the PilotEdge network. But let's be honest, talk is cheap. Show me the money.
John, did you go over and talk to Mike at the PosCon booth?
I did. Yep.
I was very, very impressed with what they have. The whole tablet thing where you can actually like take it remotely.
Yep. Yep.
I thought that was really, really, really cool.
Yep. My question, I'm a little bit concerned about the staffing, et cetera, and what's the holdup right now? Why can't we, have a 12-person event on Twitch?
I think what they're doing is they're trying. I don't think they're working on so much infrastructure. From what I heard from Mike, I don't think it's so much infrastructure as it is working on just getting the bugs and the kinks out. Because what Mike said was he said we don't want to release something that is not ready for the public, and we want to be able to release it or do a invitational beta. So they're not gonna release it as like a closed beta or an open beta. It's just going to be an invitational. So if you signed up at Expo, you're more than likely going to be able to participate come the third quarter or whenever they open it up,
Yeah.
which will be cool.
Rav said
One,
third quarter this year, though. That's not right. To do
Oof,
I heard
that's
third quarter.
I mean that.
that's
I
5,000
heard this year.
pilots with this.
Oh
No,
no,
I don't
not
think
5,000.
it's not.
Ooh.
It's not this quarter, Rav. And did you?
Yeah,
Are you sure about that? Thank you for
I
the
think
I
subscribe,
heard
by the way. Yuki Notora with the subscribe.
third quarter is in like in
It's next year.
like a no. I mean, I'm saying third quarter is in like a month or
Yeah,
two
yeah. No, no.
from now.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Whew.
No.
I
Wow.
think I think there will be an invite only beta by the end of the year. I think that's what's going to be going on, but I think it's going to be like that open beta that
Yeah,
Rav was
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about by next year.
By the way,
Um,
Captain Canada has joined
there he
us.
is
Hello,
The one and
talking
one
about that
only
maestro.
Captain Canada. It was so good to talk to you. I'm sorry that
isn't he so friendly? You
he's
know.
he's just
Such a
he's
nice guy.
just got a good vibe. His whole crew, we love you, man. Thank you. And I'm gonna do the same thing that he did when I joined him on his YouTube live stream. Is this the real Captain Canada?
His chat was. I tried to stop by there and say hello to him, but his chat was moving so fast. It's
Yeah.
like he forgot about me. I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I couldn't
I
believe it.
I said hi and he just glanced right over it. I was
Yep,
so
I
upset.
know. Like we were
So
nothing
upset.
to him.
We're nothing to you.
Well, he and
Yeah.
we're basically yeah. No, I love
That's
him.
funny.
I
You
love
guys are
him.
YouTube stars, so it's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
That's
big
fine.
YouTube.
Yeah, I think I've
Yep.
got maybe 0.01% of the followers that Captain Canada has. Welcome aboard. Really great to have you here. Um, like I say, it was great to hang out with you at the bar and chat with you, meet your crew. And but I'll tell you what, your Yeti, what's his name? Yeti,
Bearded Yeti.
Bearded
Bearded
Yeti.
Yeah.
Is as you know, Captain Canada is a great guy, and he's helping us out with our visuals in our X-plane
Yes.
simulator.
Him
so,
and Vess. Yep.
Yeah.
Him and Vess.
Yeah.
yeah,
Fantastic.
the Brad of the North.
Exactly. Pretty much. Pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a good time at dinner.
Yeah.
That was very good. John, we wish you could have joined for
I
the
almost
big
I
big
did.
Sunday dinner. Honestly,
I was at
you know.
like I say at 10:30 at night was when my last flight got canceled, and I had to take a an Uber back to the hotel. I should have come and crashed your party.
You want to know what? I think honestly, I don't want to say karma, but it's kind of karma for leaving on Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, that big
karma.
storm rolling in. That's kind of just like, guys,
I agree with you.
come back.
I agree with you.
That's funny, but no, I think it's I think even you guys know Tom, and I think he said his plane got struck by lightning.
I think he just did a
Before-
typo.
before
I think
he
he
got
meant
on it,
I think
yeah.
he meant shots fired right there.
Ah,
Either one. Either way, maybe he ate some bad sushi. You never know.
I don't know how
there you go.
I don't know how Automod didn't grab that, but
That's funny.
You better look into that, John.
hey Bish, how you
Big
doing?
time.
Sorry, we miss a lot
Bish
of
up-
people
Bish-
in the chat, but do we have a another question in line?
Oh, we have
Um,
plenty.
Oh, there's so many questions.
Because we're going.
Yeah,
Actually,
you got it, Brad.
Okay, here's a great one. Let's see this one right here. Well, we've actually already covered the whole the wishes, what we'd like to see in X-Plane. We've already gone over that in previous episodes. No, in terms of
Yeah.
like if we had like like a genie in a bottle type situation there. Did any of you guys do the landing competition at the expo? I wasn't awake early enough for it. I don't know.
The
Yeah,
funny
Puck
part,
was sleeping.
I was gonna do the landing competition, but there's two reasons why I did not. The first and most prevalent reason was that a dozen of us got extremely sick when we used the VR goggles in Connecticut at Flight Sim Con.
Hmm.
We really, really were sick. So I avoided putting on a headset that 175 other people had put on just because of that.
That's gross.
I heard Puck got sick.
There were several people that
Oh,
got sick, but it wasn't.
still.
He didn't get it from that, but there's other people that got sick. But the second reason is I was a little bit. I wish that it had been the Zebo mod and not the default for the landing competition. Just
Oh, that would be very unlaminar though.
you're
You
Yeah.
right.
know.
It was they needed to. But the thing is that they they know of Zebo and they work closely together.
Mm.
And if you have a Honeycomb yoke at your booth, why not have a Zebo mod? But yeah, I hear what you're saying. I just think that the flight model has been tweaked enough. I would have liked to have seen Zebo because people were trying to land the default. I had no reference to judge them because it was I never have tried to land the default.
So you
I've
you actually
never
witnessed it
flown
then?
the default.
Yeah, I saw it happening. Yeah, there was a
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't.
yeah.
Yeah, that was very early on Sunday. I was like,
No.
that's
I'm talking
a
about the
lot.
qualifying that they
Well, the
had.
qualifying,
Oh,
yeah,
Yeah,
the qualifying was the day before,
yeah,
but
interesting.
everybody they did like the actual landing competition
yeah,
the day of, right?
And it was Juneau
Or some,
Airport, no?
yeah,
yeah, it was Juneau.
yeah.
That's relatively easy. Just an offset
Lady Flyer,
approach.
not very healthy to share equipment. Yeah, exactly. Hello,
I
Lady
think
Flyer.
I washed my hands probably like dozens of times throughout the day
Yeah,
just because of like everything you're touching and like
yeah,
people that you're shaking hands with. I mean, like
yeah,
yeah, that's germ city
yep.
for sure. Yeah.
Next time I got to bring my hand sanitizer. I got to be like Tom. He's
Yeah.
got his hand sanitizer in his
Actually, no,
pocket.
no, no. Pete had a big bottle. He had like a
That's
gallon of hand
right.
sanitizer.
Yeah.
And
Apparently,
he was
one
just
of Captain
Yep.
Canada's crew, one of his subs, won second place. Got a sweet VR headset.
whoa.
Ooh.
You got a VR headset if you wow, that's actually epic, man.
Darn it.
Yeah.
Should have done
We should have trained for that. I wish I knew.
Yeah.
Wish I knew.
a train. Funny.
That's pretty good. All
Um,
right, we have. Well, go ahead,
we
Puck.
got a bunch more to go.
Fire one off
We'll
at us.
save Max's for a little bit. We'll save that.
You make him wait.
Yeah.
Did you just give his question a hot 600?
Yes. Yeah. Hot
Whoa.
600. Another
Wow.
10 minutes there, Max. We'll be
Read
back.
that one, Max. Actually, here's a great one here. AI was mentioned this month. What other areas of flight sim might benefit from the use of AI, like ATC, weather, etc.?
Weather, I don't know so much about, but ATC, I think it could make it a little bit more realistic. Um, I know that. Well, never mind. I don't know too much on this topic.
Can
So
you
go.
rephrase? Tell me the question
Feel free.
again.
Yeah, so pretty much AI, artificial intelligence,
Yeah.
was mentioned.
Yeah.
So, what other areas of flight sim might benefit from the use of artificial intelligence, right? Besides just the planes we're seeing right now, which are
Yeah.
real, but they're AI, right? So,
Um,
other
in
aspects of it.
I would say in the sim, I don't know if this is exactly answering the question. I would like to see some further variation with regard to moving vehicles.
Yes.
Maybe some, they Laminar, and I focus on Laminar probably more than I should, but they showed some new 3D model boats available for
Yeah.
gateway airports. I would like if the smaller boats had some movement in the sim. Taxiing out of the marina and it being in the bay, and I know right now we have cruise carriers that move and other ships that move. I'd like to see some smaller stuff move. I'd like to see motorcycles. I'd like to see I'd like to see a do you know what the biggest this just came to me. My biggest wish for all sims is to have much better animated AI people. We have the worst
Yes.
looking people at
Horrible.
the
I gotta
Cutter
tell you,
FBO in Albuquerque. The most weird looking broad shouldered dude it's like, what? if you can have these really, really nicely developed humans in Grand Theft Auto, why can't we have them in our Sims?
I will tell you what. You go take a look right now on the DCS YouTube channel. They are releasing a payware, fully animated aircraft carrier, a Nimitz class carrier,
Mm.
and they just released preview videos of the animations from the deck crew, and it is GTA style animations. I mean,
Wow.
buttery smooth. It looks amazing.
Wow.
They just released that I think yesterday.
Hmm.
It looks impressive to say the least. I think Vertical Simulations is trying to also kind of move in a similar direction with his animations that he's doing because he puts down custom people.
Mm.
Albeit it's probably not quite easier. It'd be done already, but that'd be pretty cool to see that. Yeah, that fluid type of movement, um, rather than just having the AutoGate guy just robotically kind of move like that or
I want that.
stuff.
I want that sexy tug driver that we all see when he gets out of that tug, and I want when he says when he's holding the pin, I want him to do a dance, full motion dance on the ramp. Yeah, obviously we want frames are a big issue with regard to high quality looking
Mm,
any AI. So we put frames and yeah, we all put weather above the people. Like we all want the better clouds and we want to get that all situated before we go to our wish list. But hopefully down the road we have some decent improvements in some of that immersion level stuff. The guys that are coming up to the plane, or even the passengers boarding the plane. And how fun would it be to one day actually have the avatars in the back of our plane be our Twitch viewers, literally walking
yeah,
around.
Wouldn't that be cool?
that'd
That
be
would be pretty sick.
that.
Yeah,
That would bring great concern. That I feel a little bit nervous if you like
yeah.
go to the back of the cabin. There's like a bunch of people there, but it seems pretty cool. What's going to happen with the new shared um, flight deck from the FlyJ Sim team,
Uh
in
huh.
addition to
Yep.
what Aerosoft has going on for their stuff over in P3D, in which it sounds like you have the possibility to bring on. I know at least for Aerosoft, they say up to 200 observers, um, just to observe your flight. And that would take
Yeah.
kind of being a Twitch viewer to a whole new level. If you don't want to fly along, you boot up your sim, you connect to the aircraft, get a wing view, and you just chill out. I think
Yeah.
that'd be
Yeah.
a whole new level of immersion, so to
Yeah.
speak. Even if
Exactly.
you had a VR headset, even even better, I guess. But yeah, so I think AI for me, I really enjoyed back when I used to do like FSX. When it first came out, the ATC was what you relied on doing your flights. I just wasn't like about VATSIM because I didn't have any interest in it,
Yeah.
and it did the job obviously. But I think we're definitely in a time in which you could improve the default ATC, especially in X-Plane, because that is that is yeah. I mean, it's default X-Plane ATC is tough.
I'm never gonna get into ATC that isn't a real human. I'm sorry. I'm spoiled. I have. There's
I
a
agree.
lot of people that want it to be improved. I could care less. I would rather have a better weather system than good offline ATC that the computer talks to me. I don't want it. I don't want it. I want that real human. You know.
Got to
I
have that
agree.
real human interaction.
Yeah.
I totally agree as well. I think it's nice to have that for sure. But at the same time, if it became a level in which it was so advanced that it was actually almost like having a human there without just having a real person, it'd be kind of neat.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just me thoughts on that. That was good though. I mean, that's
Yeah,
hard to at AI and flight sim. I mean, that's it's like I don't really know
it's a lot of
too
coding.
much
Yeah.
about. I don't know too much about there.
All right, we're going on 9 minutes until we kind of have our hit the 2 hour mark. I don't mind going longer, but if we wanted to hit a few more questions before that mark,
Yeah, I can go a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be too much.
Um.
Okay, well, go ahead.
Oh, I got one. So we talked about the honeycomb before. We didn't really comment too much on it. We just said it's awesome. But B2 was asking if we tried the honeycomb, which I'm pretty sure we all did, and what comments do you have on it? I'll start. I love the switches on it. The switches actually had a little bit of weight to them, and they didn't feel like they were just floppy plastic. They felt actually very comfortable and smooth to operate. I love that. Also, the landing gear was fantastic on it too. What do you guys think?
I think it was funny how some person broke the flap switch because I thought it was
Flap, yeah.
actual movement rather than just a toggle. that was pretty funny. I would have hated to have been the guy to do that because I'm sure they were not going to be getting their
Yeah.
version of it. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, it was cool. It felt nice. It felt unlike the other stuff I've used in the past. But I went from joystick to joystick, then to yoke, and then back to joystick. So, adding some space for the yoke and then using that and actually getting a feel for it once again in the sim will be totally different. Because I went from flying my Airbus with the yoke, which was fine, a year ago, but now I'm totally joystick. So
Yeah.
it'll be an interesting transition back. Um, but I mean, it felt really nice and solid. It had good resistance. It felt durable, like it was made of good quality materials, and it was nice to actually have a reputable. Well, we don't. They're a new company, right? But to have a seemingly affordable and reliable product that is going to serve us really well.
Hmm.
Looks
Captain
good.
Canada says he confirms the Honeycomb is everything we've needed and wanted, and he's been blown away this past week since getting home. That's awesome. I will chime in with uh, the I felt it at the several booths had it. I thought it felt great. I thought it felt wonderful. If I was going to a yoke, it would be the one that I would go to. I do have a Cytec Pro yoke in my closet.
Hmm.
And it does beat the Cytec at present. Now, will this make
Oh,
Cytec step up its game? Hope so. It's
Hope
not
so
a
too.
it's not a on the Yoko level. Is it Yoko or Yo? What is that?
I think it's Yoko yoke.
The
It's like
very expensive.
it's like $1,600 or
Yeah,
something.
that is obviously the highest end as far as fidelity and smoothness and everything like that. I don't have real estate for a yoke, but I think that this is fit a perfect price category. They've hit the market with a nice aggressive price, and it beats the current offerings on the lower end, the lower to mid range budgets. I will
Yeah.
say that I'm gonna probably test it on stream because they asked me for my email address, so I'll probably get a demo to show and I'll review it. And I think it's great for anyone that's going the yoke route. But I probably will not be switching away from what Josh Gibbs turned me onto, and that is the Warthog. The Warthog is
Yeah, you have that
king.
great setup too.
And then, of course, at the end of the day, the Logitech 3D Pro is also great for those entry level simmers. So, great question.
Yep,
I
I
mentioned on
agree.
my stream actually that my first time even using the Thrustmaster Warthog was at the expo and using that, and I did not like the way that it like felt or moved. I was very happy with what I have now after using that. I was like, this feels very weird to me. It felt very sloppy and like kind of loose, and there wasn't really much resistance. I'm not sure if it was just an old beat up demo unit. I think you maybe were in the stream when I mentioned that, John.
Hmm.
But it felt very like just I don't know, not what I was expecting for the price point. I don't know.
Yeah, the other thing, you gotta you speak positively of a product, but you also have to kind of be open, and then that way you build up some credibility. So one thing that I did hear about the Honeycomb is that basically the expo floor for an entire day was equivalent to one guy using it for a year. The amount of movement back
Wow.
and forth and everything like that was there was so much movement back and forth of people testing it. At home, you're only going to be using it on rotation and landing flare, right? You're not going to be using
That's
it in
crazy.
you're not going to be using it unless you're in GA or if you're in an extra 300 and you're doing a lot. That some people did sense that there was a little bit of fatigue toward the end of the show with regard to the Honeycomb. But this is what I think is cool is that the gentleman who developed this is probably going to look into, okay, yeah, this did have a lot of use. How can we improve the something internally to make it not feel, basically have it work for 3 years and still have the same type of feel and everything like that. But again, the floor, they beat it.
Well, you know
They.
what he mentioned though is that if you do purchase it, it comes with lifetime parts replacement, including the
Hmm.
bands that are
I heard it
inside
was
of
a
it.
5-year warranty.
I could
Yeah,
have sworn I could have sworn he said
I thought I
lifetime.
heard lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
Um,
lifetime part,
it may be
but
lifetime parts,
Of
but
the
I think the actual unit may be 5 years.
I think
But
I
Yeah,
heard
long
that's what I
story
five
thought.
short,
years. Yeah. But 5 years, you got to admit, 5 years is more than a year that you get on most products. So
yeah. So worst case scenario, you fly every day and you beat it to all hell. You just simply get some new bands and put it back in there, which couldn't be really too hard to do. If you can change out your graphics card in your PC, you can probably put some new bands in your yoke, and you're back to square one.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
we're going to see a lot of it on Twitch in the coming weeks, and not just promotional. We're going to actually see some people flying it on stream, YouTube and Twitch, and it's going to be fun. But those of us that were fortunate enough to feel it in person are very impressed. And yes, it is clearly the leader in the $100 to $300 category. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy, but it looks to be a pretty promising product. So looking forward to flying it. I mean, it feels super cool. I think Jeff Fabiano mentioned to us that he has the Yoko yoke, and there wasn't really much of a middle point to it. I think he said it was just kind of loose the whole way around.
Yeah.
Which seems like an interesting concept to me, because I think everything I've used has that resistance that pulls you back towards the center, which I kind of like having that snap back to neutral.
But then again,
as well, it had a nice middle point in the Honeycomb.
Isn't the Yoko force feedback? Or
no,
I'm not 100% sure how the Yoko works, but
you want to know what the Honeycomb guy mentioned? Force feedback in 2021.
In 2021, yeah.
But not, but a different model. Yeah.
No, it'd be the same model,
no,
with the added feature of it.
No,
it'd just be the added.
No.
You think they're gonna make completely different, like completely change it all up? And
what I'm saying is the existing model, you're not going to add a motor drive inside.
Oh yeah, you have to buy a new one.
You have to buy a new one.
No, yeah, no,
that's what
course,
I'm saying. Yeah,
that's what I mean.
And hopefully he offers with or without. I mean, back in the day, I had a Microsoft Sidewinder force feedback joystick. That was 20 years ago. It was amazing, but it's not something that I really need or have to have. But I'm tempted. Behind me over here, I've got my trucking sim, right, with the wheel and everything like that. I'm tempted to build a third sim just for the Honeycomb. And
oh my goodness!
Oh geez, here we go.
Turn this, right below. See Valdude's up there in the corner, right up there. The portrait. That's Valdude's right there.
Yep.
Just put a sim right over there by Valdude's. Anyway,
John, you're turning it into an actual newsroom at this point.
Yeah. So do we have how many more questions do we have?
We have 7.
Wow. All
so
right.
I think we should.
Should we go lightning round a little bit, maybe, or
we could do that? Yeah. How have you seen Sim evolve over the years? John, no offense to your age, but you have probably seen it the most. What is the biggest
out of
improvement
absolutely
in the last...
left field?
Okay, whoa.
Somebody moderate this guy.
John is a very experienced man when it comes to
it's a very valid. I didn't hear the last part of the question. What was the very last part?
What have you? We'll go back. We'll go back 25 years. What's the biggest change you've seen over the last 25 years when it comes to flights?
Well, the biggest change with regard to flight sim is the fact that we don't have to fly alone. I'm just going to say it right now. We don't have to fly alone. When I fly now, I fly with all of you here in the chat. If you're looking from a technological standpoint, I've showed it on my stream a few times. The first sim that I started on was 1.0 in 1986, before either one of these guys were born. I don't mind. Are you close?
Old, John.
Are you close
to
that?
Old.
Are you? Were you?
I told you.
Were you alive in '86? Let's just put it that way.
He's lying.
I give you a hint. I just got my AARP card in the mail last month. Just want to throw it out there and say that, okay?
All right, so maybe he was alive when I started in '86, but not too many flight simmers in '86. So it was the planes were sticks. So to me, the biggest development is the fact is that we have 3D cockpits. If I had to sum it up in 2 words, is 2 words 3D cockpits? 3D cockpits. That's the biggest advancement.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think for me, it was just the beauty. FSX it looked cool at times and stuff like that, and whatever. But after Microsoft dropped support, that kind of brought down the multiplayer network too, which is what I really enjoyed doing with my friends, and joining those things and talking to the guys in the tower. It was fun. But once that stopped, I said, "What's next? What's the next flight sim?" And I saw X-Plane 10, and I was like, "This doesn't look right for the year we're in. It seems behind the times." But then I saw 11, and I was like, this seems like this is like the future. Like this is like the prime sim,
Mm,
and I couldn't believe in how much better it looked than FSX out of the box. I was
mm,
blown away.
mm,
So I just think for me, it's the graphics and how closer to reality it's getting. With each variation and version and update, it
mm.
just looks more and more amazing, and you know, love it. So I think for me, it's the graphics.
How about you, Puck?
Yep. Oh, I'm the same way with graphics.
Yeah.
Also, just how the Sims run with the increasing graphics and how smooth they run on the computers we have nowadays. Now, yeah, of course, the technology has really gone up since I got into it since in 2008. Um, the the computer software and hardware has really just skyrocketed with how good on performance they are. But when you add in the graphics, you look at Active Sky, you look at Xvision, everything that we can put into it. The 320 is the most advanced airplane that I own, and I'm still getting between 50 and 60 FPS. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Why am I so, John? You all right?
You look
Larger than
good.
life
You
now.
look good.
Yeah, you look
Okay,
great.
We didn't
Oh
have
my
a
god.
we
I
didn't
might just
have
back up a little bit here.
no, you're good. I
I'll
have
get
the
real close if you want, John. You want to see me that bad? Just ask.
here's the question that came out of that question is when will we see Air Force Proud 95 doing something like P3D or X-Plane
Never.
On
Never.
PilotEdge.
on
Never.
yeah, when are we going to see that?
uh,
Yeah.
that's funny.
No,
I
right
was
I think
just thinking
right
about
right
that.
girl was saying, "You know what? You guys should make your webcams bigger." So I was just experimenting in just live experimentation. She was
Hey,
saying,
don't forget, 64-bit was huge. I don't miss those big crashes in FSX, honestly, and like every flight being ruined. I don't miss that at all. So
This feels weird because now we can't see anything on the screen. We're just looking at us.
right girl said to try it though. You got to listen to the woman sometimes. And look, there's a plane coming in. We're going to try it for a second.
yeah, my big head's blocking the plane
You
though.
might, yeah,
No,
you might
no,
have to move
no.
Brad
The
over a
plane's
little bit.
coming
I'll
in.
move, John. I'll move.
It's gonna hit him. It's
The
gonna
chair
run
goes
right
back
into him.
180, John. I'll pull. I'm gonna go horizontal on you.
How's
All
that?
right,
Is
I'll
that
do it.
better? Is that better?
Better.
Experimentation is what it's all about. Oh, and I can even cry. Anyway, all right. Next
All right,
question.
next question. Good question, Air. Okay. Do we already go over this one? 3 wishes for X-Plane. Let's do speed round on this one. So 3 wishes. I'll do one. Brad, you do one. John, you do one.
Okay.
My wish. My wish. Volumetric clouds. We're getting close.
You already
We
have
are
him.
getting
Boom.
close.
Done. Answer. My answer.
Not really,
Three
but
more
okay.
wishes. Stupid Puck. You went with the volumetric clouds. Go for 3 more wishes. Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
This is simple. Jeez.
Go for it. Go for it.
John.
Give me PMDG products, more of it.
Good
The
one.
other thing is give me anonymous VATSIM, and even though that's not X-Plane specific, and give me
That hits home.
more shared cockpit opportunity, better technology in that area, and that's FlyJSim coming.
Give me
It's
lower
coming.
latency.
It's coming. Yes. Lower latency. That's a
Yeah.
huge one. All right. Good. Good job, guys. Even though mine was bad.
Just trolling
Oh
you.
God. Do we want to do? We said we answered this one at the beginning. Do we want to talk about it again? The MSFS 2020.
I
Are
don't
we
really think
taking
we have
sides?
more.
There are so many go-arounds right now going on at
I know.
O'Hare.
I'm gonna do the King Kong on the runway here. That's why they're going
Back
around.
to the 2020 just for a moment. Yeah, those of you that missed it, we talked about the 2020. We're all very curious to see what will be there. And then my biggest question was, can I fly it offline? Will it be subscription based? Will they accept the third-party developers? But visually, it looks great. But I'm with Brad. It's a wait and see. Puck it's agrees. It's
100%.
it's a wait and see. We're
Yeah, why get
excited.
excited for something that's
I will say that they could have upped their PR game by co-announcing it at Expo. But to be honest, I don't even know if they were aware of it, aware of Expo. So maybe next year they'll have a presence in Vegas. Let's hope. Let's hope. We have options, gentlemen. We have options.
There are options.
We have lots of
There's
options.
options
Dead Stick is coming as well.
I'm excited for that one.
So
I think that one's gonna be
is
fun.
that has that been like officially revealed or like any date? I
I
mean,
haven't heard anything. They canceled their presence at Expo because they're hardcore working on their development.
right on.
I don't know if it'll stick with me, but I love the fact that we have options.
Yep.
E3
Lot.
is way bigger, extremely bigger bish than Expo. But what did it hurt by saying, 5 minutes later, you guys can announce this? And then there could have been a panel or a discussion at FS Expo. It wouldn't have
Honestly,
hurt.
it would
E3
have
is
went
much,
wild at
much
Expo.
bigger, but we're niche. We're so niche that
Yep.
but
It would have been I would have been like super pumped if they were there, not just for the announcement and them being there, but to see how the dynamic would have changed over the weekend. I mean, that would have
oh,
honestly
yeah,
that would
yeah.
have blown
No.
that would have blown everything out of the water there. That would have made anything else there completely irrelevant essentially,
Yeah.
and just yeah. So that would have been interesting, but I'm also kind of glad that it was as relatively low key as it was
Yeah.
during the event. But yeah, we
Yeah.
went pretty crazy, not crazy, but we had
It was
we had a
wild
little
and wacky.
celebration. Yeah, after when they announced it, it was
I just hope that I honestly hope that a flight sim world was a complete bust, right? Let's all admit it. Flight sim
I've never
world,
even used it, touched it, and never
Dovetail
even looked
Flight
at it.
School was a
I
bust.
don't know.
Um, there's been a few things along the road that have been. Oh, it's raining now in O'Hare. That's cool. So I have
Looks
hope
nice
that
actually.
we have an option.
Yep.
Is that
I
rain
agree.
by X and Viro, by the way?
It is.
I think this
Looks great.
looks a
It
bit better.
does.
Yeah.
I don't know why the planes are going around, but
Um. Okay. What's your take on people who compare sims? Now, I don't think we should really like get into people, but I think the whole simming or the whole like comparing sims like one's better than the other is kind of stupid because everybody has their own opinion. Everyone's gonna say that their sim is better than others or
yeah.
whatever. I think it's dumb, but not my job to judge.
Well,
I'll,
I used to not like P3D until I then because
Tried it.
yeah, because I was like, this is just FSX, and then once I tried it and found out it was really just so much more. Again, not by default because it is, but with the current modern technologies you can put into it and how you can make it look,
yeah.
it is unbelievably different than my experience in 2006. So
100%
And
agree.
I'll be honest, Brad. When you and Puck were both, getting P3D back into the stream situation, I thought, oh, I'll come in and say hello. But I'm actually hanging out. I'm actually watching you, the streamers, regardless of what you're doing. But I'm
yeah,
impressed. There are some moments where it looks great, and I love the fact that you can rock both. I, for one, probably won't rock P3D again this year. But
really,
but
wow.
but I can live P3D vicariously through both of you. And what value add PB&J has because you two are rocking both sims.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I enjoy the alternating streams in between the two. I think it gives me many options in terms of what to fly, where to fly it, and I try to diversify both sims so I have a reason to use both, not just doing the same things in both sims because the sceneries look crazy different. The weather is depicted very differently, right? Ortho for one, not in
Yep.
the other. So I mean, you want to go through SoCal on a beautiful clear day, you better fire up X Plane and just coast down the shore and just enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So
And I think one of my main jumps or one of my thought processes jumping over to P3D was um the PB&J podcast started off with all three of us being primarily
Mm-hmm.
X-Plane, like
Mm-hmm.
nothing P3D. We knew next to nothing about it. We all flew on V3.
Yep.
John, you've had V4.
Yep.
Um, but I it just it was kind of like it was an opinionated stream. So
People
we needed somebody needed to
people have asked me why did Brad and Puck start playing P3D? I'll give you two answers: 777 and 747,
787 in my case,
and
but yes.
787. There's
Yes.
yeah. Yep.
That's really the only reason. It's really the
I've
only
been
reason.
I have P3D. I've had it. I had version 1, 2, and 3 of P3D, and yeah, you guys know what my preference is for the time being. Who knows what the future holds?
It's all up in the air, literally and metaphorically.
Yeah. 7 and
All
the
right.
717. All right. Are we?
That's true.
Should we
Oh,
go?
which, by the way, I can
Yep.
happily announce
Yep.
that I have received confirmation at the expo.
Yep.
The 717 TFTI bug was fixed with the crashing issues. They say.
And it was.
So they
Very
say.
cool.
So yeah, enjoy.
Yeah.
That was my highlight of the expo. Probably was learning the crashing bug was fixed, because every time you went to a different view on the outside, it would randomly crash, and there was no way to actually
Yeah.
kind of tell when it would
Is
happen.
that
Anyway,
a pizza conversation going on over there?
Yeah,
Is
pineapple
that
versus no
pineapple on
pineapple.
pizza specifically?
Pineapple on pizza all the way, baby.
yeah,
Oh yeah, definitely.
I
What number
agree.
is that? Is that number 1 or 2?
Number one. Number one.
Yeah, I think that's one.
1
I
is
think we're
no.
all three ones.
Pineapple 2
Um.
go.
Yep,
Okay, so we have
gonna want it.
3 more questions. Bish, I don't appreciate that, but I did appreciate the offer for the tequila. Okay, 3 more questions. This one, well, we're still saving Max's for the last one. Flobby Jobby asks, one must-have payware airport in the U.S. Go. Can be either sim. We'll put it that. Nah, well, let's do explain. Explain.
It. Well, you guys all know I want a new Vegas, but that doesn't exist yet. Number 1 payware airport is Salt Lake City. Short final
I
design.
actually have to agree with you on that.
Thank
I
you.
enjoy
Thank
Salt
you.
Lake.
Thank
Yes.
you. The
That's
mount.
your
I
number
do
one
enjoy
payware
Salt
park,
Lake.
Salt Lake City.
Have you seen the scenery
Have you
around there
seen
with some
the
orthos?
Global Sim
Yeah,
Alliance
Come on,
train?
man.
The Global Sim
yeah, but
Alliance train
I think
alone.
Airworthy Designs, that Princess Juliana scenery is stunning, and a lot of the stuff
It
in
is
the
pretty
That's a
nice.
EU is
very
under,
that's
like
a
Just Sim Brussels
but
looks
he
amazing.
said US though.
True,
Yeah.
But I was just thinking the whole global, like
Go
US.
US. Give us an
Go
answer.
US? Oh, that's really, really tough. I mean, LAX does look very, very nice for
Nope, you got to name one.
airport.
Best on the
No, yeah,
spot.
that's what I'm saying. I'd probably go with LAX. I
Okay,
think it looks
LAX.
great.
There you go.
Yeah,
If I were to name 2, it would be Salt Lake, then Denver.
Yep,
I think.
Denver. Denver is
I
my
think
number 2.
Denver does
ooh, that's
really,
good as
really
well.
well.
Except I turn the Xcoder sound plugin off
Yes. Yeah, you always
because it's
have.
annoying sounds all over.
Oh,
But
but I can
but
happily announce, by
visually,
the way, there is an Xcoder um, update to Telluride coming very soon, TM, and
TM.
look for that in
yeah.
a very short period of time. It'll be
Dirks
good.
Bentley sings a song.
Soon.
Don't Goodbye and Tell You Right. That's a great song. Has
Yes. That is a
nothing to
good
Albuquerque is
do
one.
with
great.
what
Yeah,
we're talking
Torba's
about.
right. There's so many. I don't know. I don't just ever be like, I don't go to bed at night and I'm like, you want to know what? It's my favorite scenery, you know.
I'm a big
They all
fan
look
of
so good.
all. I'm a big fan of all the Nimbus stuff. O'Hare,
Sedona isn't bad
you know,
either. I
Miami.
like Sedona.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're looking
Okay.
at O'Hare right now.
Yeah.
it's true.
Nimbus
We
O'Hare.
O'Hare
are.
is pretty nice. Yeah. All right. Flight Advanced. This is the second to last question. If I have one GA plane to buy in X-Plane 11, what do you recommend? You know my answer. It's gonna
TBM
be
900.
Okay. Yeah. No, TBM. Yeah, definitely. Didn't think about the TBM. Definitely the TBM.
We've
Brad?
talked about it.
I really enjoyed the Bonanza with the rep. That's my one payword GA that I fly the most is
Yeah.
the Bonanza with the
My
rep. I
man.
think it's a lot of fun, except when
man.
you drop the power and that stupid gear horn goes off.
Yeah.
Like, what am I,
It's
like
not realistic.
1,000 years old? I know,
Oh.
but every time I have to hit that gear, I wish you could bind a key to it
Yeah.
just to make it go away. But I love that plane. It's fast. It is amazing with the rep pack, and with the 750, you know,
No.
it's good. I really enjoy that.
Everybody asks me why we got a Bonanza. That's why. It's the best.
The best
Honestly, it's the
GA.
best.
Rotate MD80.
Yeah, so everybody John and I say TBM 900, and Brad, you say the Bonanza, which good on you. I was going to say the Bonanza, but the
That's
TBM
why
is
I
too
saw
good.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
TBM is just too good.
Now
All right.
would you consider a Challenger 650
I knew that was coming.
a GA
It's a good
plane?
question.
Nope.
No, it's corporate. That's not GA.
Yeah, it's commercial.
It's closer to airline.
Okay. Is it like a Saab 340 GA?
Oh, no,
That's so tough.
I
Maybe.
think any airplane that would, if it were to be an airline operated plane that requires a flight attendant, is not GA. I think that's my whole
Fair
opinion
point.
on that.
Yeah.
And if it's like a corporate flight like that, if it's a 650, you're probably gonna have a flight attendant, maybe,
Yeah.
depending on who you are,
Yeah.
of course. But
Yeah,
yeah,
then it's
that's
like
what I
saying,
would.
well, is the King Air, is the King Air GA, right? I mean, you start to size up. I mean, it's like it's a gray area, I
I
guess
have
you
a
could.
GA category in my aircraft directory,
Yep.
and the Saab 340 is in the GA folder.
Wow,
Um,
blasphemy.
yeah,
Blast.
I
Well,
should probably
okay, but
separate it out, but
here's the next thing. The King Air. Would you consider a King Air GA?
like a 350 is GA to me. Yeah.
Okay,
I
so that's about the same as a Saab,
No,
just
Saab
a
has
little
a
Yeah.
bit
lot more
smaller.
passengers.
Yeah, but does it
Really?
require? Yeah.
The Saab
Okay.
has a
Yes
lot
and
more
no.
passengers. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes
Like
sense.
a B1900 is still GA. All of this are still GA, even though the B1900 holds like 19 people. And then you get into like
Saab's 35.
the
Okay.
E100. Is that GA? You know,
Oh, the Saab holds 35, then yeah, I would not say that's GA. No,
yeah,
I didn't know it held 35 people. Geez, that's
yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Okay, that
The
makes sense. Never
350
mind.
is like what 15, 13 at most, probably
I don't know configuration max. I don't know.
maybe 10.
And
Might be
again,
35.
GA is different for everybody.
Yeah,
Everybody thinks of GA differently. Like
yeah,
there are some jets that I wouldn't consider GA, even though like an Eclipse 550 holds what, like 7 people.
yeah.
I almost wouldn't consider that GA.
I consider that GA, but I don't know if I'm wrong. I'm flexible.
It's
I can change my opinions, but
and
right now
it
it's
doesn't.
yeah.
Right.
If it can have an airline logo or an airline livery, then it probably shouldn't be GA. So I am going to rethink some of these planes that have actual liveries, like the E100. It has a United livery, for example. I should probably put that in my tube line bucket. But
Funny.
All right, everybody. And our final question
from Max,
for
is he
the
still
day
here?
from Citation Maximus. Do you let YouTube content creators come on your PB&J or only Twitch celebrities? Thank you, Puck and John, in advance.
I
I think
honestly
it's funny how he excluded me out from that.
You did, yeah.
I honestly want to have Bish come on to our talk show, and I want to
Yes.
have. There was someone else that you mentioned. Yeah, we want to have Delta 213,
Nico as
Nico.
well.
We want to have Josh,
Yeah.
and maybe in the next one or the one after that, we'll have a guest star coming. I enjoyed the chat we had with Vertical Simulations, and
Yes.
That was
Captain
great.
Canada would be great.
Captain Canada would
Yeah,
be a
it'd be
really
fun.
But
good
I
one.
think
Red Sand too.
I think if I'll just put you two on the spot. I want to have Bish next.
I think Bish. I mean, we
Yeah.
promised Bish a while back, so
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Hey, Josh.
Josh,
Josh.
we want you. We just said we want you.
you. Yeah.
What's that?
We want you, just not right now.
Not right now.
Yeah.
Not now. Just not now.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, just not now. Just not now.
I'll take this moment that in my entire lifetime, I can only give a Twitch lifetime subscription to one person ever. I gave.
Is that a partner thing?
That's a partner thing. I can,
Is it?
and
Okay.
I can't change it ever. Right? My tier three lifetime subscription was given to none other than Josh Gibbs. He is
Wow.
the reason that I fly X-Plane. His ortho photo, and the fact is I'm going to get a little emotional here. He is seriously, we have a connection, and it will never die. Even when I say no, you can't come on the PB&J show today, he still loves me. He still does.
Wow.
PB&J.
Not to mention you spilled the drink on his
Thrustmaster.
You owe him that.
Yikes! Yeah, you pretty much. I think at that point, that's kind of in which you kind of set yourself up for the whole lifetime sub thing. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Isn't it cool though? How people are they're itching to be on the show so bad, they love it so much.
Yeah, and I want them all. I want it
It's
all.
amazing.
But
There's a line
let's
now.
not have it go 3 months, gentlemen. We're sorry it was out of our scheduling abilities, but look for episode 7. I would say maybe within the next 3 to 4 weeks
within
at
the
most. Yeah.
At most. I mean, we could probably get another one out here in another week and a half, 2 weeks.
I think if we try harder,
I'm
we
pretty
can have it more
flexible.
common. So you guys
Yep.
tolerate us. So thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Yeah. You guys
It's a good
came back
show.
strong today.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
A GSA group flight was a great idea, Rigorian. All right. Thank you,
That is a good idea.
Puck and Brad. We should
Yes, thank you.
probably look to see who's live so we can attack.
Yes, indeed.
Do you guys
Let us
also
attack.
hey, what do you guys want to see in the next coming weeks? Just independently, what do you guys want to see from us?
That's a great question.
Yeah, just put it in the PB&J question form though. That's probably the best option.
Actually, yeah, that's a good idea.
Write
If
write it up.
Yeah.
Write it up, and then we'll read those personally.
Yeah.
Before we go to bed at night off stream.
Yep, it's a good idea. We'll get our pens and our papers out, and we'll start writing down ideas for what
I'm
we
actually
are going to do with
paperless,
our own
unfortunately,
streams.
so that's not going to be happening.
Oh,
But,
you're paperless. Are
yeah,
you
I'm
wireless
paperless.
as well?
Yep. Mouse,
Only because
yep.
only because Mo's hit the
Phone.
wires, right?
As well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tablet. Yeah, we're wireless here.
Wireless. You heard it here first, folks. The Brad M Studios is completely wireless now. Nothing going on.
Nothing. No wires. Yeah.
No wires.
It's funny.
All right, cool.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. It was a good show, and we'll see you very
Appreciate it.
soon. So
Thank you.
until next time.
We're gonna send
Who
it
do
off.
Who do we got?
I think we're gonna
streaming
send
right
it over to our friend Tom. Although he
Sounds
just
great.
went on break though, so hold on.
That is
Oh,
unacceptable.
Tommy.
We have to have someone like live, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he went on break. He's setting up a flight or something, maybe.
Yep, that's a union guy. Typical.
Those union guys, I tell you.
So maybe it's time to find.
Jet?
It's time to jet.
No.
Oh.
Does anyone have a webcam? See, the thing is we just got to send off. It's like the way we go. Maybe Tom is just talking. Is Tom talking in the background?
Could be.
It might be.
Let's send it to Tom. We had a great time sending it or talking to him at Expo. Thank you, Puck and Bragg. You ready for a debrief after this? Talk about all these guys?
Yeah, debrief.
All right.
Of course.
Sure.
Sending it over to Gargantuan.
Absolutely.
See you, everyone. Love you all. And
Bye-bye. Have a good weekend.
Puck and Brad, don't talk,
soon.
really crazy, because when I host, the VOD still has us live.
Of course.
See you guys.
See ya.